We're deep into the regular season in the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series, and with 6 rounds to go, you could consider us basically about halfway to the playoffs. Now, the track we're at tonight isn't about doing things halfway, despite its place on the schedule. Darlington Raceway is full commitment, high speeds, and close quarters, so if you're not absolutely dialed, this place will bite. Some call it the track too tough to tame, some call it the Lady in Black, and she absolutely has some evil tricks up her sleeve. Maybe you wear it like a badge of honor. Maybe it ends your night, but you'll likely have a Darlington stripe after 130 laps, and it is a scar that could strengthen you or destroy you. Hi, everybody. Kyle Heyer, joined by Connor Horn and Hunter Sleppy for the 7th round of the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series season. And Connor, this place, man, it's got its nuances tonight, but you have to respect the track too tough to tame.
Yeah, you've had to respect it all week. We had crazy accidents Monday night, but a green race Tuesday night, although we did see some accidents that didn't bring out the caution, but this is going to be a challenge, possibly the biggest challenge of the week with these Xfinity Series cars with a decent amount of horsepower, not too much downforce, not too much grip either. Track temps are pretty high, just like they were on Tuesday night, so this is going to be interesting how these drivers tackle this racetrack. It's a little bit easier in a truck, but that doesn't mean it is easy. It is a hard track to get around, even with downforce and low horsepower like the trucks have. But in an Xfinity Series car, it is going to be incredibly tough to go through here side by side, let alone single file. Single files on your own is going to be tough. And all these drivers got to be up to the task. This is a race that usually sees the fastest drivers of the entire league get to the front, Hunter.
All about how you finish, though. With the finishes we've had over the week, Adam Cabot had to get rough for his win on Monday night, and then Sebastian Marin with a bump and run in the final corner in the truck race on Tuesday night. So Thursday, tonight, I would expect the same thing, but I would like to keep an eye out for Travis Beckner. He's won back-to-back races, and he's still outside the top 20 in points. It's literally been checkers or records for him. Finishes a 42nd, 34th, 34th, but like I said, back-to-back wins at Sonoma and North Wilkesboro. Still outside the top 20 in points, Kyle, so I would expect him to be a contender for tonight's event.
He's absolutely a contender. Let's keep him in mind as we have a look at the practice results here before we get into qualifying. Points leader, though, Jake Nichols, 1 win over Philip Groner's 2. The next winner, you got to look all the way back to find James Scioli before Travis Beckner, as you guys mentioned, 2 wins on the season so far, 23rd in the championship standing. So there's, the love has been spread around pretty evenly tonight, Connor, but this is a track that requires a lot of nuance here, and being overly aggressive can put you in a hole pretty quick.
Yeah, if you're over aggressive, you're hitting the wall. There's nowhere to hide at a track like this where the groove is pretty much only 2 lanes wide. You can get away with 3 if you're crazy or stupid. You're not going to see that a lot tonight. You're going to see these drivers get single file as soon as possible to get through this track as fast as possible. Side by side in the corners is a death sentence, so these drivers got to be on top of it, and they're also on top of the throwbacks. We have a bunch of throwbacks. That one got destroyed a little bit. Logan Clampett getting the boot. He's in here, I believe, his 3rd start of his season. I did see what that throwback was too. I think Bobby Hillen's Wrangler paint scheme, I think that was too, and he got crashed into by the 78. That's a Martin Truex Jr. throwback, which I believe we did see Monday night. That's from John Forbes Jr. tonight.
It'll be a carbon copy of that. I saw Elliott Sadler throwback scheme. I'm not sure who had that, but always good with the Havoline colors for John Furness and the 28. Already had the fawn, I believe, but had the paint scheme to match it for Darlington.
Interesting to note that this is a Chevrolet. Has he not been a Ford, or has he swapped longer ago than I remember?
No, I'm not sure.
It could be because livery that, I don't know, he seems like he's got his own painting ability. Here's Bryce Senesac in the 09 as well. We'll try to keep you up to date on who is running what, but as far as his livery, it's actually a throwback to Travis Pastrana's Boost Mobile paint scheme, which is one I recall from a number of years ago. That's a fun one, but qualifying is getting underway here, and it happens quickly. You only get 1 lap around here, Connor, so we've seen lots of comers and goers this week in both the Cup and the Truck Series events, so how important is it to get a good qualifying spot tonight?
Very, very important. If you win the race here, 5 races in this series is passed as we look at a petty throwback on a Toyota. I guess it fits because they are Toyotas now. It does, as he's going to reset the Dale Jr. throwback. I believe it's the 04 paint scheme, but getting a lap here is very important. All 5 winners here. Scioli's won twice. David Weishart last season. I believe Cameron Hearn had a win here, but there's been 5 races. The winner has never started outside the top 10, so that shows how important it's going to be tonight to start at the front. And we saw how important it was tires last night in a race that surprisingly went fully green Tuesday night in the Truck Series. If you did not start at the front, you had no chance because of it going fully green. Yellows or not, you're going to need to start at the front. Less passing means less wear on your tires trying to make passes, because passing here can take multiple laps to just set it up, let alone make the pass on through. So you need the track position at a track like this.
Very key, but tires are going to matter at some point. We might see some guys try to opt in for 2 tires or even staying out, but with the way tire wear has been, I mean, we saw Monday night and Tuesday night, tires matter a lot. Even after just 15 laps, we see guys just coming down pit road. They're not going to risk running out there with their old set of tires. They want new tires, and they want to make up as much time as possible as we see the board start to light up with drivers putting times down.
Yeah, times lighten up. Here's another fun throwback. This is Braxton DeWeese in the number 13 Ford, and he's got the year 2000, the number 13 Robbie Gordon Flintstones Ford, and it's really fun to throw it back to when things were pretty entertaining in the early 2000s, all the Nickelodeon tie-ins and things of the sort. And goes to the top.
Yeah, that's a really good lap. He's been a big surprise in points this season. No wins, 3 top 10s, but he's up to 4th in points. So he's been incredibly consistent as Jeremy Miller and an Alex Bowman throwback. That was Bowman's first start in the Nationwide Series. That's what that scheme's throwing back to. He comes across the line of 30.462. Probably not what he wanted.
Oh, I love this one. Clint Boyer. That's a fun
2016.
throwback. Yeah, more recent than others, Hunter, but something about that era. The tail end of the Gen 6 era in particular was a fun one for me.
Yeah, there are some good throwback schemes like we saw. No. 61. I'm not sure if that's a throwback to, was that Michael Waltrip? I know Waltrip ran the Peak Antifreeze car, but I don't think it was that similar color.
I think it was new to him, though. Has he? I guess you're right. He has been running similar colors. Cameron Hurd comes across the stripe in the number 4 area that shop Chevy that he's got tonight. Jake Nichols is out on track, and
that's a Kleenex throwback.
I don't know. I should know this, but I don't.
I know. I mean, it is my car, so I should know.
Oh, no, well, maybe I don't know. What you got?
David Green.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
That.
Busch Series champion 1994. Not in that scheme, but that's what he went with, and it's pretty sporty. His teammate Philip Groner went 3rd. I can't wait to get a look at his number 11. Looks really sharp, as does this. We'll see what he can do, trying to get to the top of the board, trying to maintain the points lead.
30.249. That'll go to the top, right over Braxton DeWeese. I was going to say, Braxton, his lap really holding up well, I'd say. And even if he gets knocked down a couple pegs, it's not going to be all that much. Here's Ryan Hartz. What is going on with the 54 tonight?
It's got 2 M&M's throwback. I believe the 38's in an M&M's throwback.
Oh, I got to see that. Where's that at? He qualified, didn't he? He did.
This could be a Kyle Busch throwback, but I know the 38 is...
Oh, maybe it is.
Number 38. The 38 is an actual, like, Sadler or Gilliland throwback.
That's definitely a Kyle Busch throwback.
It is. The MGM stuff was throwing me off. And I get it now because of all the M's, but, yeah. It's
the poker chips replacing the M&M's.
I think that was actually the 2008 paint scheme because it had the diamond plate on the bottom, like on the skirts. Yeah. But the MGM really threw me off here. Here's the number 90 Logan Clampett, and everyone knows this paint scheme.
Yep, good paint scheme and a fast driver involved in it too. Like I said, I think it's a throwback to the one ride Bobby Hillen had in Wrangler colors as he comes across the line.
Oh, to the top.
156.256, and that is pole provisional, probably likely the pole by 0.04 of a second over Nichols.
Well, even Scioli only went 3rd quick, Hunter.
Yeah, he's throwing it back to a couple weeks ago, and Travis Beckner throwing it back to old time's sake for that 27th, 15th quickest. And, well, that was fast.
And that was it. So a number of drivers will not qualify. Imagine we've got some EOLs, and we do. We've got over a half dozen of them and a pair of drive-throughs, Connor. So that will be something to consider as well. But before we get into the racing tonight, 130 laps is the race distance here this evening, and it will take us just a little over an hour, especially if things go pretty clean and green. But race fans, make sure you're subscribed to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you'll have Area iRacing emotes to use in the chat, and you can earn double channel points that you can use to redeem for free merchandise for just $5 a month. Join today, twitch.tv/Area iRacing. But it'll be fun to watch tonight. We've got a number of drivers giving us some perspectives on board, as they have so many times this season. Bryce Senesac giving us a look inside his cockpit. Justin Munsell as well. Love the shirt he's got on tonight. Travis Beckner always giving us a perspective inside in the heat of battle. Braxton DeWeese, great qualifying effort. It is dark in there, but once the monitor lights up, I'm sure we'll... Oh, there he is. We'll see him tonight as he goes to battle, and that's all the ones that we've got available at the moment. But Connor, this will be a fun one.
I think it will be a fun one. These cars are probably the most fun to drive at Darlington, even though I never liked this track as a driver, but it's still, when you get into a flow, whether you like the track or not, it can be fun at times, and tonight's going to be no different. Not going to be as hot as it was Tuesday night. Track temp is 111 degrees. We saw it at 120 in practice, so it is coming down already. It's a little later in the race. I don't believe we'll get into the nighttime with how early this is starting, but we're still going to see some hot and slick action. We're going to see drivers fight for grip, especially if you get behind one driver, get him loosened up. That could be an incredible trouble spot, as we saw out of turn 2 a lot on Monday night and Tuesday night, and turn 4 is going to be a struggle as well. That's the Philip Groner scheme I wanted to see. Jeff Burton's Prilosec OTC paint scheme. He won at Texas in 2007 in that car. It looks awesome.
There was the Elliott Sadler throwback, Alexander Bryson had the whole number to match with it as well. And turn 2 is going to be a really tricky corner, Kyle, especially with these Xfinity cars. These are the most on-edge cars that area races, so we saw how much of a factor it was Monday night, let alone Tuesday night.
Yeah, this corner, and Connor can speak to it as well as sort of the driver of the three of us, but you kind of get down into the center of the corner. Once you commit back to throttle, there is a very particular line you have to take. If you have to adjust that line or lift or do anything after the point that you recommit back to throttle, Connor, it will absolutely smash you in a way that turn 4 won't do to such an extreme. But when you see cars side by side, it is almost a race to turn 2, not race through turn 2, because you cannot do that side by side.
Where the banking meets the flatter part of the track, or where like that big apron starts, that's where you need to get your left sides down to. If you're any higher than that, you're in the outside wall. You can see these 3 seams, that third seam that's following the white dotted line. You got to get down to that on corner exit, but it's tough because you have to be around the outside wall through turns 1 and 2 to make any sort of speed out of turn number 2. You cannot run the bottom through the middle of 1 and 2. It is not fast. It will not work, especially if you're side by side. That's what makes it so tough, because you got to run against the outside wall, but you got to get these big stock cars down to the bottom as fast as possible. It is going to be a challenge for everyone, especially on this first and second lap, because you got to get single file. You lose seconds per lap if you're side by side through that section of the racetrack in turns 1 and 2.
Well, let's roll through our Central Mobile Homes starting lineup tonight. Looking for a smaller, large home, a new shed, or a Triple Crown trailer? Look no further than Central Mobile Homes. They've been proudly serving Florida customers for 28 years with a plethora of small and large home floor plans, shed designs, and Triple Crown trailers. Available in LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring. Head to CentralMobileHomesInc.com to get started today. Front row, it's Logan Clampett. In a rare start this season, he takes his number 90 to the top. Jake Nichols rolls off alongside him, Connor.
Heavyweights in the top 3. Series champion James Scarley will start in that 3rd position. Braxton DeWeese, 4th in points, starts 4th tonight. A great season for him so far, and it might get better as he starts up front.
Colin Fambro rolls off 5th place in the number 18. The Mark Martin throwback looking good there. Philip Groner on the outside of that number 11, starting 6th.
Blaze McKinney in the Dale Jr. 2004 throwback that we mentioned. He, I believe, will go to the rear. Shane Therian will not. He'll start in the 8th position at number 9.
In 9th place, it's Alex Bell in the number 15. Nice Clint Boyer throwback there. Matt Kemp in the number 51 starts in 10th place.
Could be an AC Delco throwback, could be Boyer, could be Harvick, not sure, but 11th position will go to the 2 of Greg Mitchell, and then alongside him, one of those petty throwbacks, the 43 of Matthew Bell.
And in 13th place, it's Ryan Hartz in the number 54. David Weishart starts in 14th, and the outside of row 7 in the 33.
And that's a Dale Jr. throwback to 2000. Travis Beckner not in a throwback. Well, throwback to last season maybe. He starts 15th. Looking for 3 in a row tonight. Zachary Carr just looking for some better luck. He'll start 16th in a Kurt Busch throwback.
Brody Balliker rolls off 17th in the number 42. Jeff Wright, Jimmy Johnson throwback 18th in the 48 car.
19th position will be the 6 of Justin Munsell. He is in his normal paint scheme. He will start alongside Connor Okrezik in his Toyota Supra 20th.
And Jeremy Miller starts in 21st place in the number 30. Casey Lakatos to his outside, rolls off 22nd in the number 50.
23rd position will be the 98 of Rafe Slate. Don't know if that's a throwback to anything, but either way. Yeah, he's going to the rear as well. And then Alex Bryson, who we saw in the Sadler throwback, will start 24th.
25th place is going to be Ben Pierce in the number 65. That's a sharp-looking car. Mayfield, I think. Cedric Hunter starts 26th in the number 70.
Could be Mayfield or Kane. They both ran Mountain Dew schemes. 27, Bryce Senesac in that Pastrana throwback that we mentioned. The 84 of Shane Abbey alongside him in 28th. I believe Abbey might have a drive-through.
He does. Ed Robertson starts 29th in the number 64. Here he is. Great looking paint scheme there. Joey Chapman in the number 60 rolls off alongside him. That's a sharp looking Coca-Cola car.
Does look sharp all season long. 31st position, Garrett Grant in his Camaro, always making starts here in area. Ryan Nowicki, another start in the Pro Series. He'll start 32nd.
33rd place, Cameron Hearn in the number 4, and then Bronson Stafford rolls off alongside him in the number 61.
35th position, 44 of Zach Nichols, not in the throwback. He will have a drive-through as well. John Forbes Jr. and Mark Truex Jr. championship paint scheme from 2017. He'll start all the way back in 36th.
And then it's John Furness and Alex Weaver in the last couple of rows. Justin Anisogak and Scott Shive in the number 81 that will start at the tail of this field. Guys, pick me a winner tonight. Hunter, let's start with you. Who's got this thing?
Ooh, this is always a tough one when you're going first. I'm going to go with the pick I had Monday night, Jake Nichols.
Hunter, who you got?
I mean, if you give him clean air, it is going to be tough to beat him. I think I've got to go Logan Clampett.
Ooh, it's tough out there. I'm going to go with the 11. Philip Groner from 6th wins this race. I think feeling pretty good about that, given that he's got 2 wins on the season. We'll see how things pan out as the field rolls through turns 3 and 4. The pace car makes that hard left onto pit lane. We'll talk more about that challenge later tonight. But the next challenge we're taking on is round 7 of the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series from Darlington Raceway. The lady in black, it's not quite nighttime yet, but we'll see what dastardly tricks she's got up her sleeve. Green flag, and we're racing at the track too tough to tame. Trouble already behind them into turn 1, and there's cars scattering. The 81 is one of them.
Ryan Nowicki, Blaze McKinney, Scott Shive, and no caution as they're rumbling out of turn number 2.
It's all below the racing surface, so no yellow from iRacing as Scott Shive and others try to regain focus. Logan Clampett looking to lead the first lap of the race.
Trying to. There's the 11 on the outside of Fambro. They started just like this. We'll see if they can sort it out. There's Alex Bell trying to poke his nose up to the outside. Smoke clearing on the front straightaway. We'll go back and look at that one when things calm down.
It looked like Bronson Stafford was the car who hit the inside wall, and it was just a stack up, but everyone else after that did a pretty good job getting single file, top 20, maybe even the top 25, all single file through the rest of this field off the turn number 2 area.
Yeah, most of the field single file as Logan Clampett leads, and you mentioned how he makes rare appearances in the area. He finished 19th at the opener in Daytona and then 5th at Sonoma after starting all the way back in 31st. But Jake Nichols running in second as the 7th guy, early hot on his tails into 1.
Yeah, it's going to bring in a whole different perspective on this race when you bring in a guy that isn't necessarily hunting for a championship. He's just here to grab race wins. It's going to change the aggression level for drivers around him, certainly, as we watch Alex Bell. There's Beckner in the 27 and Shane Thering in the number 9. Let's go back and have a look at that start incident with the 81 was the car I saw turned around, but there was more to it. This is all kind of behind the cars that were single file. Blaze McKinney in the 87, keep an eye on him. And it starts right there. The 61 gets shot from behind, and then these guys just kind of get collected behind it.
It didn't look like there was a stack up really that far in front, but Bronson Stafford was the driver who gets booted into the inside wall. You can see they're not bumper to bumper. There's space between the 60, the 70, and the 61. And I think eventually they catch up at a bad spot. Or Joey Chapman actually checks up. Bronson Stafford maybe overreacted a little bit. John Forbes couldn't react in time. And then Nowicki, I think, got the boot himself. So we already have drivers almost certainly out of this race. Shive is getting back on the racetrack. I don't believe Ryan Nowicki's rejoined the race as we already got a bunch of damage to him and Stafford. Logan Clampett leads. Scott Shive comes on the pit lane, and those drive-thrus served by Zach Nichols and Shane Abbey have already been served, and they will now fight for the lucky dog.
Meanwhile, I think Philip Groner completed the pass on Braxton DeWeese for 4th. Meanwhile, Garrett Grant mentioned he started all the way back in 30th, making up some ground, all 6 spots. Almost came across the nose of Cameron Hearn there. Side by side for 24th on the track.
Yeah, Hearn saw opportunity to slide up along the outside of Grant, and he will take it. As the night goes on, I think you're going to, you might give someone an opportunity to slot in right now, but when you get to lap 115, 120, that will stop. Now, we saw so much strategy on Tuesday with the fuel economy, with the tire strategy, Connor. What are we looking at tonight? I'm sure it all depends on when the cautions fall, but what's your initial thought?
I think getting to one stop is going to be a lot tougher tonight, but I'm not going to say it's completely impossible to get the lap 65, which is halfway tonight, without making a stop beforehand. I think you might need to save maybe a little bit, but I think this is one of the tracks where it might be easier to save because of how much off-throttle time you're having in turns 3 and 4 anyway. You might not really have to slow down as more than you would have had to anyways, so we'll see if some drivers try to one stop, but it looked like the two-stop was pretty good on Tuesday night, although we saw Jake Matheson leave due to internet issues. He would have likely won on the one-stop strategy, but there might be a lot more fall-off tonight. But saying that, we have less track temp, so that could also change, although I did see it down to 106. It's now back up to 108 with about 40 cars on track as Brody Falliker trying to hunt down the 43 of Matthew Bell as Logan Clampett's out to a 7/10 of a second lead hunter.
Yeah, things starting to get more spread out in the back. Some side-by-side action. John Forbes Jr. to the inside. Alex Bryson in the 38 car. That's for position. Want to go back. That's for 26th position, right behind the 5 of Grant.
Yeah, single filed out a lot quicker than I thought it was going to. And I'm already looking at the lap times. Connor, you'd mentioned that we'll probably see it be a bit more challenging to get to that halfway point. I'm going to concur with that. We're 9 laps in and we're already a half a second slower. So I expect the fall off to be a lot like what we saw in the trucks. But, you know, we saw that strategy, the two different strategies of the one stop and the two stop come down to the last corner on the last lap. I think drivers are going to want tires tonight. We'll see how things pan out.
I would think so too, but you just never know what the winning strategy could be as we got more side-by-side. Colin Farnborough's by Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese started 4th. He's starting to slip back. That was for 6th. Travis Beckner trying to follow through for the 6th position himself. That was for 5th that Farnborough got as they made side-by-side work, but look how far the 18 got away. I think DeWeese is trying to find his place in line, but I don't think Alex Bell is going to be a driver to let him in. He's going to try to charge to be inside line out of the corner, but not able to do so, so DeWeese finally found a home. One thing I'm noticing, a lot more drivers running higher in 3 and 4 than we saw Monday or Tuesday. Not a line that really worked, but there seems to be some grip right now.
Yeah, at least for the moment, still somewhat shaded in that section, and it does help with the runs down the straightaway, as not so much in 1 and 2. That's kind of the only lane you can go in. If you run any other lane, you're going to be at a disadvantage, but still somewhat shade towards that upper end of the outside wall, but don't want to get too close to it, but eventually the Darlington stripe will haunt you.
So many drivers just clicking away laps here early. And we talked about it on Tuesday, how you can run 100 laps around here, darn near perfect. And the second you scrape that wall, it feels like you can't miss it from that point on. It's just you run into it lap after lap, knocking the right side panels off the car. But how long can you prolong your perfect driving tonight at a track that's so nuanced? It's a little bit of side-by-side. It's been deeper in the field that the battles have been brewing, and so far up front, Logan Clampett's got a pretty good grip on the field.
You just talk about Darlington stripes. Travis Beckner got himself a little one out of turn number 2 last time by. Didn't hurt the car, but that's how easy it is to tap that wall. As Jeremy Miller up to 16th position after starting 21st. Beckner starting to struggle, but you can see how single file this line is. A little spread out between the top 4 or 5. Philip Groner has kind of chased down James Scioli, but no move imminent quite yet as Beckner trying to get back in a groove after that tap of the wall.
You know, one thing I'm starting to notice, lap time already about 9/10 to maybe a full second off for some of these guys from the initial start of the race. Kyle, we're about to be 15 laps into this run, and that's huge considering we could see a longer run, maybe 30 laps, 40 laps before guys come on and try to make their pit stop in the green.
You know, we saw half a second of fall off 9 laps in, and now 14 in, we're seeing a full second. So there's a cliff right after about 10, 12 laps that we're seeing drop off pretty significantly. Now, I don't know how much that'll factor into a decision later. I think on a late race restart, I want tires no matter what. But will we get a late race restart? Will we get to that point? We went completely caution-free on Tuesday, and I don't want to jinx us, Connor, but that is a possibility.
We went caution-free, but it was not crash-free. We did still have some incidents. Neither is tonight. We already had a stack-up incident that took some drivers out of the race as that of number 11 starting to ride around the outside, trying to ride around the outside of Scioli, but just not close enough to make the move. And this is what's always the tough part about, this is like the motto of this track hunter. Catching them's one thing, passing's another. If you catch them, they are not going to let you go easily because they don't have to really do too much defending to keep you behind. It's that hard to make a pass. It will take lap after lap to just set up the move. Completing the move, that's another story.
I was about to mention this. Greg Mitchell on the 2. Ooh, getting himself a little Darlington stripe.
Just a little one. Just a kiss to wake you up. But while these battles continue, Beckner got around Deweese, but Deweese has not let him get away. Look at that 13, bright orange, chasing the number 27. And you will not forget about that Ford Mustang in your mirror, will you?
Yeah, I don't think you certainly will. We had a mini crash at the back. Rafe Slate's out of the race. It looked like turn 1, lap 16, had an incident. He's out of the race. Joey Chapman, I think, got some damage. Didn't look too bad, but he will bring it down the pit lane himself. So already dropping flies a little early, although majority of the field single file, as we'll see what happened here on the Hendrick County Motorsports Park Instant Replay Hunter.
Yeah, this was right around 31st on the racetrack. Rafe sends it in the turn and just comes across the nose of the 60. And then those two kind of entangle with each other throughout the duration of that turn.
Sort of a tale as old as time, right? Just try to drive down in there. And this is the track where you got to pull moves like this to make moves, but just maybe a little early in the race, used up a little more racetrack than I think was probably wise in that scenario, and ended up getting himself turned. Unfortunate end, early end for Rafe Slate tonight, and for Joey Chapman, he's a couple laps down and on pit lane still.
Yeah, that was definitely too early for that move. You don't usually try a slide job in turn 1. Martin Truex Jr. tried that 4 years ago, and it did not work. So yeah, that was kind of surprising to see that happen, as we're starting to see some stripes already. Starting to see some passing as well. Beckner got by Braxton Deweese. It seems like ever since he tapped that wall, don't know if he went in the conserve mode or maybe the tap of the wall actually hurt him a little bit, but hasn't been able to pull away from Deweese, and the 13's trying to charge right back by him.
Tried that bottom in 3 and 4, but that outside lane, we've seen guys run up there early in the going, and we just saw it there, how much of an advantage it is once you navigate that right. If you don't give yourself a Darlington stripe, you get a run-on corner exit, and then it propels you in for an advantage into turn 1. We saw that with Beckner, but Braxton Deweese still not letting him go as Jeff Wright's in the thick of it with Brody Falliker.
I'll say, 42's in the wall. Just kind of ran out of road, and behind him, the 65 of Ben Pierce. That is a Casey Kane throwback, by the way. I was close.
Everham.
Yeah. That's that number. Oh, the 14 of O'Kresick. Wow. Huge sideways moment into turn 1.
And Falliker hit the wall just trying to keep his car in fully one piece. O'Kresick kind of went to the apron, and I think the transition unsettled him. He had a big run on the 42, tries to at least stay down there. He was loose before he even hit that transition, somehow saved it. Falliker hit the wall, but yeah, he never hit the apron. He turned left and it cracked out from under him. That was wild.
Turn right to go left, but don't want to do that too often. It's going to eat up the rear tires and going to cause you to lose track position longer in the run, which, by the way, 22 laps in, almost 2 seconds of fall off, Kyle, from leader Logan Clamp. Best time was a 30.29. Last lap was a 31.87.
Well, someone just lit the fuse on this battle, didn't they? It is just exploding.
Backspin. David Weishart, Jeremy Miller might have had contact. Looks like they kept it straight. That was almost it right there. I think Weishart had a moment Miller was avoiding.
Yeah, it just got, the last couple laps, it's gotten very exciting around the racetrack as people start to burn their stuff up.
But now we're in a big stack up. This is where you get into trouble when one incident like this stacks up a number of drivers. There's nowhere to hide, and there's more contact with Miller and Wright, and even more drivers get stacked up.
I'm not sure how Jeff Wright saved that car. I thought he was going to bounce off the 30 into the inside wall. He bounced off the 30, or barely at that. Kept that car going straight. Brody Falliker now to the outside trying to take advantage.
Oh, tight quarters here. Now Connor O'Kresick. We already saw how loose Connor is. He's going to see this right out the windshield. He's going to smell blood in the water. But which lane do you pick? Who's got the grip? 42's on the outside. But when you're following a pair of cars like this, Connor, they're going to check up out of turn 2. Who gives? And it's Wright.
Wright has no choice but to give. He's going to try to get up in front of O'Kresick. O'Kresick actually ran himself out of room. Now that lets Ben Pierce get the run, but Pierce actually stays in line, and he's going to be pretty conservative with the 14 there. It's just tough. You have to back up 2-3 car lengths just to give those drivers side by side some space, or else you're just going to run one of them over or just get involved in their crash. So he pretty much did the right thing there, but just tried to get too much on corner exit as maybe that stack up sorts itself out. We're pretty spread out at the top 5. From Logan Clampett to Colin Farnborough, 4 seconds, and it's another second back to Beckner, who's still trying to hold back Braxton Deweese, still not pulling away from the 13. And how about Alex Bell in the 8th position? This would be a great run for the 15.
And the battle for 6 still continuing. Braxton Deweese not letting Travis Beckner go just yet. Still closing in on this bumper, but not so much as to that, and it's still Clampett leading by about a full second over Jake Nichols.
Yeah, Clampett and Nichols have been pretty close on lap times. Clampett was outpacing Nichols by a hair the last few times around, but I don't think it's significant enough to build that gap out to 10, 15, 20 seconds or anything, but he does appear to be just a little faster at the moment as Justin Munsell in that number 6 closes in on Therian in the 9.
Munsell, he got passed by Miller. Miller got caught up in the checkup, and now he's going to try to pull off this pass, and he got a break. I believe those two are teammates, so Therian, I think, saw Munsell was faster, just let him by before the entry to the corner. It still stacked things up, but a whole lot better than going through there side-by-side in that exit of turn entrance at turn number 1. Valiker loose on the bottom once again, but you have to make those sorts of sacrifices at a track like this. There's no other choice.
Yeah, Matthew Pell was also hanging that car out sideways out of turn 2. Fully on throttle, just letting the thing hang out, almost tagged the wall at the right rear. Is now little contact there between the 33 and the 97 of Zach Carr. He's going to go to the outside, and Jeremy Miller will see an opportunity here as well.
And that's always risky going to the outside, because if you're trying to pass on the inside and make a mistake, well, you'll probably put the other guy in the wall and you'll be just fine. But making that pass on the outside, you leave yourself vulnerable to getting shoved into the outside wall by the driver on the inside. But saying that, these drivers know how respectful Weishart is on the racetrack. He gave Zach Carr a lot of room. He gave Jeremy Miller enough room to follow, although it's not working out for him, because now Jeff Wright squeezes to the outside for the 17th position, as that is the problem with giving people breaks. You'll have a whole other bunch of drivers taking advantage. Here comes Okresic now, just fading through the field. Yeah, and 33 was really loose there on the bottom underneath those two cars as well. Just trying to half spin in the back. I think Garrett Grant and Cedric Hunter had contact as they stacked up a little bit. This is a battle for maybe about 24th or so.
Yeah, the 44 is actually a lap down to Garrett Grant.
Hunter and Grant are battling as Zach Nichols is just trying to run away with the lucky dog. He does have it currently over Shane Abbey.
Yeah, just trying to get around all that chaos as they make their way down into turn 1 once again. No changes for the lead, although Nichols was significantly slow last time around in comparison to Logan Clampett. Here comes DeWeese on Beckner down into turn 3. This is dicey.
He's sliding, trying to side draft a little. Beckner's going to slam the wall, and he will not be happy about that contact. DeWeese has been working him over, still faster, and I think he got too aggressive with the side draft, and he still didn't get the position. So if he wasn't getting breaks from the 27 already, he's not going to get any there, because that was a little too tight. Yeah, somehow Beckner kept it in, excuse me, but he has more damage, but kind of wall bounced and kept going.
Yeah, one of the most emotive drivers behind the wheel. It's always fun to kind of watch him and his perspectives while driving. And Connor, over the years, he's had his fair share of spicy moments, but it's always in the good name of entertainment and fun, at least from our side. But 100 laps to go, just a little under that now. And we have been 32 laps without a single yellow flag. And no lead changes either with the dominance shown by Logan Clampett.
Yeah, this is not really surprising. That's why I picked, some other drivers being on the pole. It might be a different story, but this is a guy who's, I believe, won Coke Series, Peak Antifreeze Series races, so it's not surprising to see him pull away like this. It's a 1.8 second lead as you look at the battle from maybe about 11th or so. Justin Munsell's moving up after getting by Shane Therian. Now he's going to try to work over Greg Mitchell. I saw Okresic hit the wall, but he kept it straight. As you saw, Munsell tried to get to the outside, but got a little bit too much dirty air on the nose and lost him a whole bunch of time, but he knows Therian will be cool with him and not try to pass him.
Yeah, it's always nice to have some friends, even if you're not pushing and shoving like you're at a super speedway. Just to have a guy cut you a break more than once is a nice addition. A little side-by-side. Jeff Wright has been in a nucleus of entertainment this evening.
And he's stuck on the bottom now as Okresic is starting to look to be inside of Miller for 15th. I saw the 30 bounce off the wall. I have a feeling the right front damage is starting to hurt him because he's starting to fade pretty hard, but Okresic can't make the move. I think Miller tapped the wall there again, but this is starting to become a little bit of a stack up as Mitchell once again holds off the 6 of Munsell and a stack up even further than the other stack up.
Weishart got really high there. Big counter steer by the 4 of Cameron Hearn mid-corner as well. Fights happening everywhere, all over the racetrack. It has been entertaining, and it seems like after lap 20, Hunter Sleppy, man, they just lit that fuse on the grenade, and it is wild right now.
Yeah, I'm starting to see a lot of different changes throughout the last 10 laps or so. Some more side-by-side battles. Getting really tight there on corner exit with Bryson. Actually, that was Sean Forbes Jr. to the inside there, but Yeah, Jake Nichols really starting to fall off a cliff as the battle for second just now heating up, and he's going to let Scioli on through.
I think that was smart. Logan Clampett's pulled out to a 2-second plus lead, Connor. So which locomotive is the strongest one to pull the train? And Connor Okresic pulling off the racetrack.
Oh, he's spinning. Oh, he just alt forward before he completed the slide.
He's got big problems with his internet. I think he was just trying to get out of it, but it's good on him for that. But it was about to be very ugly.
Yeah, I saw him hit the wall out of 2. I don't know if he had any issues that caused it or he just hit the wall and then decided maybe to call it quits. But either way,
the 42 is in the wall.
Now that's the most dangerous part to hit it almost. Besides the exit 2, Mitchell tried to cut back inside, couldn't do it. He was just in 11th. Look at Cameron Hearn go through right to the bottom. Busher-esque, but he's not clear. He almost came up too early. This is not a move that works usually, but he will get the spot from Mitchell.
He tried to get 1 spot up, or 3 spots under. He got 1 in pretty spectacular fashion, I'd say.
Well, yeah, that was after David Weishart nearly bounced off the wall right there, and then Hearn just had to react, and the only place to go was low. Otherwise, he was going to have to check up. He's not going to do that, but he eventually gains a position out of doing that.
Oof, just cars everywhere, and he just went where there weren't cars, so Connor can't blame him for that.
No, definitely not. Exactly what Chris Buescher did on the front stretch in the spring race for the Cup Series. So it worked out pretty well for him, all things considered, as we're starting to close in on that window where we might see drivers take a pit stop here. I think you will be able to make it to lap 65 if you want, but I don't know if it's going to be faster with the fall-off we're seeing. Lap 40 to 45. Really the range, I'll give the range 40 to 50 for the 2-stop. We're about in the window to make it on your, you get your first stop in out of 2, as we're still watching Braxton DeWeese trying to get by Travis Beckner. I am sure Beckner is not making it easy after the contact they had while you were away, Hunter.
No, and Matt Kemp actually closing in on this battle as well. So that'll be a 3-car battle for the 6th position, but you see the eyes of Beckner. He trying to keep that 13th car at bay. He's still trying to re-enter the top 20 points, so a lot on the line here as we're near the end of the regular season.
Out of turn 2 and onto the back straightaway here. This is for 6th place. You mentioned Matt Kemp in the 51 closing into this battle, adding some pressure, adding some temperature to this fight as DeWeese gets into the wall just a little bit in turns 3 and 4, and a little lateral slide in the boot. Temperature's warming up, Connor, but it's not significant, I'll say. It's not the hottest that we've seen. But the drivers will be plenty hot by the end of this thing. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, everyone on track, just all the cars on track are what's keeping it heated up. If there were less cars on track, it would probably be coming down, but it's staying steady at 110. Actually came down to 109 as starting to see that gap shrink. I've seen James Scioli touch faster than the 90 after for a few laps. Not enough to get there before potential pit stops, but pretty fast right now is that 7 as he's left Jake Nichols in the dust. He's already got about a second over him. He just ran a 32.358. That's another 1/10 of a second taken out of Logan Clampett's lead.
See a pass being completed there on 9 Shane Tyrion. Zach Carr moving up on the 12th position.
Just outside of the top 10, Justin Munsell got by this crew a couple of laps ago. We've got lap times in the ticker on the left-hand side of the screen just so you can kind of monitor progress of the front 2. And the top 2 are the quickest 2, but not in the order that they are on the racetrack, as this time through again, Scioli takes another chunk out of Clampett's advantage.
And it just shows how well Scioli did to just sit, bide his time, and save a little bit more tire. It's another 10th right there, like you mentioned. We'll see what it is here again. And starting to notice that the fall-off is kind of evened out. It was only about, it was 10 laps ago Logan Clampett was running 32.2s. He's only running 32.4s at this point. So the fall-off is not too heavy at this point, as I think David Weishart's trying to pit, and he just barely made it on. This is that 2-stop strategy we were talking about, as Miller and Therian are side by side in turn number 1. Looks like some 2-stoppers are coming in.
Yeah, these guys are ready to get some fresh rubber on. It's been a long 40 laps for these guys, just trying to make it through with the first set of tires that they got, but now they're going to be on a whole new ball game, as here comes 18 of Colin Fambro. He did not pit, but he is currently on the move.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of drivers peel off and try this strategy. To make it to halfway, you got to do another 20 laps on top of this. But as Connor pointed out, the fall-off slows down significantly. There's huge drop-off after 10 to 12 laps, and then it kind of slows down from there. So we'll see what the strategies are played as, but Braxton Deweese has just been trying everything on the back of Beckner, and here comes Kemp to go on past.
Yeah, it's finally going to cost them a spot, and that was just not the right move to make. He tried running low in the middle of 1 and 2 to maybe catch Beckner by surprise, but that's just not a viable lane at all, and that's going to maybe cost him 7th, although he held off Kemp pretty good through the outside of 3 and 4. I'm sure Kemp is probably going to not let him go. He threw it into turn number 1 to re-clear the 51. Now he's got to try to do something else to get by the 27 as Jeremy Miller, another driver who stopped. Cameron Hearn is in as well. Ben Pierce from 25th position also entered the pit lane, as did Greg Mitchell.
Well, Kemp got a great run off turn 2. Now going to look to the inside of Deweese for that 7th spot, but that outside lane going to prove critical for the 13. Going to get that run off 4 and keep Kemp at bay.
Fun battles to watch as about 5 or 6 cars have come down pit road. I'd expect to see maybe a few more in the next few laps. And then once we get to lap 50, 55, Connor, I'd have to imagine that you're going to start pivoting to the other strategy of just pitting one time around lap 60 to 70.
Oh man, Logan Clampett almost knocked down the wall in turns 3 and 4. You can see the gap is almost 1.2 seconds at this point. I think it doesn't seem like the fall-off's as extreme as Tuesday, but you can tell these drivers are just hanging on. Look at him get as close to the outside wall as you can without hitting it. So the fall-off might not be extreme, but the tires, the wear itself might be really costing some of these drivers a lot of time. That might be the reason we don't see as many one-stoppers, but saying that, I still think majority are trying to do this one-stop, as is Clampett. Maybe this is the line he's trying to run because he did it once again. But that gap to Scioli is still coming down, and even Jake Nichols is closing in on the 90.
Yeah, Scioli 2/10 quicker that last time by. We'll get an update on these laps as they're coming by, and it was about even for the 90 and the 7. Jake Nichols 1/10 quicker that last time through. So tires definitely starting to fade away fast for Logan Clampett. Lead's starting to shrink, and this battle lane shrinking. It's just growing. We got 5 cars in this mix, Kyle.
Yeah, great little fights here back behind Travis Beckner. Looks like Deweese got back around Matt Kemp into 51. And is now going to launch his assault once more on the 27. I'll bet you, for brewing some excitement, it has been between these two, Beckner and Deweese, tonight, hasn't it?
Yeah, Beckner won't let him by easily. This might be the one that ends the green flag if it happens. Like, this is a late dive for Deweese to even poke the nose there. You can tell he's impatient already. We still got a while to go, but he's pretty much done with the 27th rear bumper. He hasn't hit it yet, although he hit the left rear, but he's, I think, about done with this battle that he's been losing. He was 1/10 faster last time by, but still can't make it work. As the first pit stop from the top 5, Colin Fambro's going to dive in.
Yeah, Fambro's had a top 5 run so far tonight as Deweese still looking to the inside of Beckner off 4. Not going to get enough on the quarter panel, but Matthew Bell going to have a look to the inside of Kemp for the 7th spot. Going to send it down in there and try to clear him, and he'll do just that.
That was a nice pass there for Matthew Bell in the 43. Deweese just absolutely glued to the back of Travis Beckner. And for Beckner, how distracting is this, Connor? I mean, you've got a guy behind you that you're mad at, maybe. And is this a distraction to have Deweese just back here? Is it better just to let him go at this stage of the race?
I think it would have been better to let him go 20 laps ago, but after they had contact, I think that's probably out of the question, and they're going to wreck before they even give each other any sort of room. He chopped the nose of Deweese again. At this point, if I'm Braxton Deweese, I know he's probably trying to make a one-stop work, but I'd almost want to pivot to a 2-stop just to get away from Travis Beckner. It's this hard to pass. It's held him up a lot. They're losing to the battle for. They're losing to Philip Groner, and they were losing to the other driver, Philip Groner, and Colin Fambro. This is just holding everyone up back here. It's not going to end nice.
No, and not before long. It won't take long until Matthew Bell makes a move on Braxton Deweese. He already passed Matt Kemp, going to back off going into 1. Try to give these guys as much space as possible, but we're just waiting on that one domino to fall, because as soon as that happens, then it's going to trigger a whole domino effect. We might see it here, Kyle.
A little bit of a run out of turn 2. He's going to open the door to the inside. Beckner can't turn down to the apex. Deweese has got his nose in. This is how they made contact before.
Back straightaway. They're wrecking on the turn 3. Shane Therian's around, and this is going to bring out the caution. Cedric Hunter is involved. John Forbes has crashed. Shane Abbey's now crashing. Kyle, they tried 4 wide entering turn number 3.
Where did this even start? Cars everywhere.
Jeremy Miller, Cameron Hearn were a few.
What just happened?
They tried 4 wide entering turn 3. It's
here you go.
Look at this run. I get it, but I mean, he came up. He wasn't even clear. That's absolutely never going to work.
What the heck?
All right, well, there's got to be. We got to rewind a little bit more. There's got to be more than that.
I mean, so here's the 4, goes to the inside here, and then he just kind of turns into the 30. So, yeah, there had to have been more to this. Let's go back about a minute. We got some time. We know everyone's going to hit pit lane. Was there more to this?
I mean, Cedric Hunter's slow and slows up Miller. Miller goes under him. Hearn takes evasive action.
Maybe he felt like he got blocked here, but
I mean, if he feels like he got blocked, maybe he should stop racing. I mean, that's.
I mean, that's probably a.
I mean, that's. If there's no history there, Hunter, that's absolutely just uncalled for aggression. You can't even do 2 wide at Darlington. He tried 4 wide, and he tried turning right on everyone when he's not even clear, and he took out at least half a dozen cars here. This is absolutely ridiculous. That is, I mean, you absolutely can't do that under any circumstances. I understand he thinks maybe Therian's not there, but you can't just come up when Miller's holding his line regardless.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting how the admins rule that, and then more cars starting to collide. I'm not sure how John Forbes got in it, but he was spinning out
there was a lot
heading into this turn.
There's a lot after this, so let's pick this up. So there's the 9, the 28, they get tangled in this, and then the 78. I picked that up at the end because I was trying to figure out where cars were coming from. Where did the 78 end up on track, guys? If you could help me out with that. 16th right now, so he comes in after the fact, so he's trailing this group. And then Mitchell kind of tags him, sends him around for a slide. And then the 84 comes sailing in there. I mean, this is probably what you get when you don't get yellows every time there's a wreck, because they just see it on the apron and go, 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 go. You know what I mean?
I suppose.
Shane's on the brake. He's really on the brakes.
I mean, how tight these cars can get, I would not be surprised if all these drivers are running a bunch of rear brake, and when you see a crash in front of you, you slam the brakes, you're almost certainly going to spin out doing that. But you can see that stack up happening. It already had happened the lap before, and it happens again, and that's not a move that is ever going to work, especially when you just turn right on the guys. I mean, that's just wrong.
Yeah, that's
got a lot of fast cars too.
That's a tough one. I mean, it's.
And plus, you got fresh tires mixing with old tires. I understand the urgency to get through, but you just can't. You can't do that. You got to have at least some patience.
Well, I think for me, it's it's not like a plate track where he got forced out. He chose to go down there, and again, there's no out of bounds here, but we're not to turn 3 just yet. You see him just kind of bully his way back across the road, and I'm not really sure what goal that accomplished for any of those drivers there, to be honest, but. Anyway, well, we got some spicy drama. That's welcome to Darlington. And cars on and off pit lane. Everybody has now made a pit stop, and your running order is on the left. Scioli, by virtue of a half-second quicker pit stop, jumped Logan Clampett in the pit lane. That's a big move there for the 7, I'd say.
I would think so, and they were pretty much that's what they wanted. They were hoping maybe Traps and Drivers laps down with the caution. Weishart, Wright, Grant, and a few others. They have no choice but to take the wave, so let's put some behind the tires set completely. But yeah, with the 7's long run pace, this is going to be interesting to see how Logan Clampett plays this restart. If he tries to push hard to get back by the 7, or if he sits behind the 7, if he tries to learn from him and then maybe get him later in the run. Because we saw there on that run, Hunter, that the 90, great short run pace, but as we got 40 laps into the run, that 7 just had a different gear.
Yeah, one thing I'm kind of thinking ahead of for a little bit. We know how some guys, they handle perfectly in clean air, but once again, in dirty air, they just seem to fall off a cliff. It doesn't happen to all, but it could happen to Logan Clampett here, where he really hasn't been in dirty air besides lap traffic, so it's going to be a little bit of a curveball for him on this upcoming restart.
Doubling back up, Scioli chooses the bottom lane for the restart. Perhaps no surprise with Jake Nichols back there. To reevaluate where we're all at, I've got Philip Groner P4, and one of you guys picked Nichols and one Clampett, right?
I got Clampett.
You had Nichols, Hunter?
I believe he did.
Well, let's restart him. Lap number 58 of 130. And closing in on the halfway point of this race, just 8 laps shy of the halfway point. First restart of the night. after a caution on lap 53. Green flag, and we're back underway at Darlington. A lot of single file cars there at the back of the field. Skyly jumps up ahead of Logan Clampett as we roll to turn 1.
They're almost 4 wide again. Abby might be in the wall. He got destroyed in that. He just letting people go, but Skyly got the restart he needed, took the lead, got clean air from the 90 of Clampett. Nichols third, Groner fourth, Beckner in the fifth, with Braxton DeWeese still right behind him, still trying to figure out a way how to pass as they try to sort it out on this first lap after a restart.
And I see a couple of guys going to the outside lane, almost contact there right in front of the 6 of Muscle, who's trying to get the outside lane rolling.
There was contact there. Oh, trouble! The 43's in the wall hard in turn 1. Caution is out, and Bell is out as well.
Alt F4 immediately, which good on him. Avoids any more people getting involved. But Justin Munsell had nowhere to go regardless.
Yeah, I think he just kind of got used up there, but let's see. Again, this is the crash that I'm surprised we haven't seen more of this week, is just drivers going into the corners. It gets narrow, and it's so fast. And just guys tangling up on each other's bumpers. It's not abnormal. We just haven't seen as much as I thought we'd see. There's the 43 goes down there, drifts up, doesn't clear him, and bam, the wall. It's a big hit for the 43.
That's kind of what we saw with Rafe Slate, and or at least what I saw of Rafe Slate and Joey Chapman. And this one is worse because he's trying to slide up and he has no room to slide up. Doesn't get very low either, so he just comes up right into the left front, of Justin Munsell. Nowhere for the 6 to go. At the very least, the 43 Alt F4s maybe avoids bringing some other people into it after coming down the track, but definitely a mistake. And a little door bang there. Maybe he's seeing red because of that, seeing some getting a little bit more aggressive, but definitely was not a move that was going to work.
Nope. Tough math.
I think Munsell actually got away with that. I thought he'd have more damage. Maybe there's more internally, but at least visually, I thought it would look worse.
Well, the time on pit lane will be the ultimate judge of that, but it does look okay.
This is going to be interesting, Hunter, because not only you got the guys who took the wave round all come to pit lane, but this is really close on fuel. I'm not sure if you can make it without saving, but we're at the point where we could see some drivers actually try it.
Yeah, we're at that part of the race. I mean, it's about halfway, part of the experimental stage. If it doesn't work out, okay, we'll know that for later. Although, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe save it towards the end if we get a late race restart, but not sure if we're going to get a late race restart. This race could go caution-free to the end, and that could change a lot of things.
Yep, I mean, man, Hunter, we had 53 laps of green flag running and then 2 yellows right back to back, but I think we'll see Clampett. Well, he went down below that cone, which was a conversation on Monday, but back up above it now as we roll through turn 4. Now, despite us having 53 green flag laps, Hunter, we've got 7 or 8 cars, make that 8, that are out of this, well, that were off the racetrack. 2 of those are back on now, many laps down, just trying to salvage what they can, but high attrition rate here for what has been so far a fairly clean race.
Yeah, it was clean, and excuse me, I just got back. Excuse me, but yeah.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, good timing, but yeah, the attrition rate has been high because we kind of had those mini crashes once again that took some drivers out. We had to stack up on lap number 1 before we even got to the start-finish line. Rafe Slate, Joey Chapman out of the race, or at least taken out, at least with damage. I mean, you could see that attrition rate already getting just inside the top 30 almost. So we're probably not done yet, especially if we have potential for fuel saving to become an issue. It's going to make this really interesting, I would say.
Well, we've got a moment until we're going to get back underway here for the restart, for our second restart of the night. We'll look down from high above Darlington Raceway here, and it has been an interesting one so far. Our replay sponsor that's been giving us these looks inside all the action is Hendry County Motorsports Park. Racing returns to the Hendry County Motorsports Park on September 7th with 360 Top Gun wing sprints, Crusoe late models, factory stocks, and more. Tickets are $15 for adults with discounted prices for seniors, teens, and kids ages 5 and under are free. Come see racing at the southernmost dirt track in America, located in Clewiston, Florida, right off US Highway 27. Visit henryracing.com for more information. And add some life to the party this summer with Elite Entertainment. Located in Boiling Springs, South Carolina, Elite Entertainment provides high-quality band production to entertain at any location, including karaoke, singo, and more. Visit Linktree/Elite Entertainment LLC for all contact information. Fields doubling up. Skyoli again chooses the inside lane for the restart here, and again lines himself up with the 73. That seemed to work out pretty well last time. Hunter, as we get set to go.
Yeah, cautions breed cautions. We went the first 50 laps or so without having a yellow, but over the last couple of restarts, we've been getting these sporadic yellows, and I believe some of the guys, they're starting to see, well, if we get in a longer run, track position is going to be key, so they're trying to make up as much as possible.
Field rolls out of turn 4. Skyoli on the inside, Clampett on the outside in the yellow and blue. And back underway at Darlington. Better restart
for Nichols.
Yeah, I was going to say better restart than the last one, Connor.
Yeah, Nichols I thought was going to have a chance to get second, but Clampett a lot of gripper on the outside. He'll take it back. Looks like Groner and Beckner are going to go side by side. Beckner just chopped the nose of Braxton DeWeese, even blocks the 13. Might be more contact between those two, but DeWeese got to the inside for what is the 5th position, but it's going to turn to a battle for 4th. Beckner got the right rear of Groner just barely.
Still there and still looking to the outside. Nichols going to come down and give some air for the 11. It's going to have a look to the inside of Beckner into 1. Going to slide up and clear him. Single file around most of the field.
At the top spot, Logan Clampett has run Skyoli down. Where do you make this pass? He's going to look up to the outside. Skyoli didn't cover the outside in the middle of 3 and 4. And Clampett almost has his nose in there, and Skyoli has to leave him the space.
I don't think he wanted to run the outside, but Clampett kind of forced him to inch up the track a little bit. Now the 7, that's the right decision, has no choice but to give the 90 to Clean Air and slot in line, stay runner-up. So Logan Clampett back to the race lead.
Playing a long game here, Skyoli is. We saw that happen in the initial stint of the race and was able to close in on him as the laps dwindled on the green flag run. But that's if we get a longer green flag run, or run as long as that from the first one. Meanwhile, Weishart clearing the 29 of Alex Weaver, coming off of 4. Someone had a really wobbly exit.
Listen. Turn 2. Jake Nichols on the outside of Travis Beckner. Beckner has a big wiggle here, Connor, as we head down the backstretch.
Yeah, that was a little surprising. I thought Groner poking a nose, maybe the 73 of Nichols would let his teammate by, but that didn't happen, and Nichols ended up giving him too much room, hit the wall. Not sure if the right side's hurt too much, but it cost him the top 3 position. I think he'll be able to hold off Beckner for 4th.
Got the run off of 4 to do just that, as Beckner had to go to the inside. Meanwhile, behind, positions up for grab. This is for the 10th spot. Weishart to the outside of Alex Bell. Going to get real tight on corner exit, and both those cars get away just fine.
Connor, what's our fuel situation look like? We've got about half the field with 8-lap old fuel tank and half the field with 15 laps on the fuel tank. What's the situation?
I think drivers who had just pit under that last caution are going to be roughly maybe 2 to 3 laps short. So it's going to be tight between those guys who had just come down. Leaders like Clampett, Skyoli, Groner, everyone else, as they're going to battle again. 2 teammates are really roughing each other up tonight. I don't think these drivers can make it without saving too much. The guys who topped off are going to be in an even better spot. So I think we might see some drivers try to stretch it if we can get to that point. The leaders, I'm less confident about doing so.
Yeah, that'll be interesting if we have guys trying to stretch it with fuel being an issue and tires already going to be an important issue in the late stages of the run. As Philip Groner still holding on to 3rd. Thought he was going to have a peek to the inside for Skyoli on the 2nd spot. Not just that, going to run in line for now. Beckner still keeping the 13 of DeWeese at bay.
The drivers were getting really comfortable with that turn 4 outside wall there, weren't they? Using every inch of the racetrack. But, man, these Camaros running in second, third, and fourth, looking really good. And you can't count out Travis Beckner, who has just been unable to dispatch Braxton Deweese as the battle for second's underway.
Yeah, battle for second is hot, and Scioli, this is a little more than I'm thinking. Maybe fuel isn't going to be, looking at my numbers, fuel might not be 2-3 laps short. Those guys we topped off might be better than I think. Maybe that brings the leaders, Clampett, Groner, Scioli into play. I'm wondering if that is part of Scioli's strategy. He was third last time we got a long run, and obviously he got back to a second within Logan Clampett, but maybe he's trying to conserve a little bit extra fuel. Possibly he's trying to make it as the 27 and 13. That battle will not go away as Deweese still not able to get them.
Just like the cricket in my room will not go away. I'm not sure where it is, but I keep hearing it. Meanwhile, the 13 is that cricket. He is not leaving the 27's bumper. His Matt Kemp is closing in, and thought Nichols going to have a look to the inside. No, he'll just stay tucked in the 3.
Yeah, real tough when you got a bunch of teammates that are all really fast, because you want to work together, but how do you do that without holding yourselves up? So at some point, you just got to race, and Jake Nichols would like to get by Scioli here. Maybe he feels he's got the better short run pace, but Philip Groner in that 11 is starting to clamp it back down and run away from these other two.
Yeah, Jake Nichols just got the right rear of Scioli, much like Clampett did. So Scioli must be really going into hard conserve mode. We kind of saw Adam Cabot do this, and although he had to get rough at the end of Monday night's race, it did pay off for him on both long runs that we did get. So maybe Scioli trying to take a page out of his 07's book and trying to keep that long run speed while giving up short-term track position, short-term pace. Now he's back to 4th, as Groner is almost right on the bumper of Logan Clampett as we've single-filed out for the most part.
Yeah, Groner applying a little bit more pressure to that 90th Clampett. He's been the dominant car all night long as we're past the halfway point of this race, as still single file for the majority of the field. Guys poking their nose out here and there down the straightaway, maybe making a move into 3, but here's Fambro to the inside of Grant as still single file throughout most of the field.
Yeah, and drivers, again, early in these runs, this has kind of been what we've seen tonight, is just at least on the start, the first 15, 20 laps of the run were fairly single file, and then once the tires wore in, it was just absolute pandemonium for the next 30 laps after that. Lots of great battles around this racetrack, and Connor, as a driver, I know it's so frustrating to feel like you can't move or you can't pass, but when you watch it from this perspective, I think it tells a little different story, doesn't it?
I think it sure does, as McKinney's going to get as tight to the wall as possible, but it's just the race within the race. The other drivers you're battling are usually whatever. It's all about just racing the racetrack more than anything. It's definitely tough when you're tucked up behind someone who can't see the racetrack to race it. That's just how tough this track is. You're focusing on the surface, you're focusing on your exits, your entries, you're just focusing on making sure the car is in one piece before you start thinking about trying to battle other drivers around this racetrack. As a 28,
little hip and shoulder.
Yeah, some more muscle there. We saw that a lot Monday night as well, as Jeff Wright maybe a little fed up with the 28 as he kind of squeezed him into the wall there as we had smoke on the front straightaway. Not sure what happened, but
Cameron
Hearn
there. Crash.
Oh, man. And that's the caution.
And this changes, yeah, this changes your numbers. Let's see what happened here. On the outside here. Oh, the 42 is going to bobble. The 18 checks up. Maybe some assistance from, yep, right there.
I think Fambro checked up for the 42, had a moment, and it caused another stack up. I don't think that's
right there. You see the 42 wiggle. He might have had some assistance from maybe the 5 also, but it just, accordion effective. He just gets turned, and that's a big hit, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a violent one. That's a day ender for sure. But you'll see a tiny check right about there, and then McKinney couldn't really react in time, and that is as hard as you'll hit at Darlington. So Hearn probably out of the race. This will definitely bring the leaders down the pit, maybe for the final time. As you can see, Blaze McKinney didn't really have time to react. But we should see almost everyone come down here.
And the 42, yeah, this is really a chain reaction sort of deal. But third caution of the night. And it is going to bring everybody to pit lane. 4 tires, 4 Mr. Feelgoods, and a full tank of Sunoco. And is this our last stop?
If we go green, it is for sure. Could definitely make it from here. But those guys who had to take the wave around after looking for the two-stop strategy are kicking themselves right now because they are down a set of tires. And this is at least the second set for the leaders, the third set used for the drivers who did have that extra pit stop. So there might be a decent amount of drivers who only have one set left. But the leaders like Logan Clampett, they should have at least 2 sets left as Clampett's into his box. I've seen Jeremy Miller. Looks like he's staying out. And we'll see if he is on his own or maybe he'll come down. But this is a pretty big race off of pit road, Hunter.
Yeah, I was looking at David Weishart down the one set. I think it was one of the cars that did that.
Yes.
Clampett's going to win off pit road.
We got 4 sets. Yeah, so those that have come down 3 times, and I can actually show you this on the left-hand side of the screen here. Those that have the 2 next to them still have an additional set of tires, and those that have 3 do not. Or is it 3 sets or 4 sets? 3 sets. 4 sets, including
4
the 1.
extra sets.
4 extra sets.
So you get 5. You start the one you start the race with, and 4 extra.
So for Jeremy Miller, now I'm almost always advising not to do this for a number of reasons. But, well, here, okay, let me clarify this. we ran into this situation earlier. I think it was back at Charlotte, maybe, where
I think Dover, maybe.
Maybe it was Dover, where if you stay out on old tires, I'm always a fan of that strategy from a tire conservation perspective. If you think there's going to be more yellows, because if we go 10 laps or 20 laps, get another yellow, go 10 laps, 20 laps, get another yellow, now you've got a tire advantage that nobody else has, and you are going to drive by everyone like they're standing still. The caveat is I don't think there's any value for Jeremy Miller to stay in front of this field. I think this only puts you in a position to get wrecked. I would say go to the tail of the field or roll down pit lane or come down and get fuel only, anything that'll put you at the tail of the field, because your tire advantage is something you're going to use later. Right now, being up front isn't going to do you any good. You're going to get run over and probably crash. So that's my thought on this. We'll see how it pans out, Connor.
Yeah, it's already hard enough trying this at Dover like we saw. I think we saw it in trucks at most. I think we saw it in trucks. I'm not sure if we saw it in pro. But it's risky there because of how fast those corners are. But now you got fast corners and no room to maneuver.
There's no risk if you go to the back of the field, and you still get your tire advantage that you will have later anyway. So that's the only reason I feel that way.
Yeah, I'm just worried about everyone behind him and who's going to get really screwed over by this. It looks like Logan Clampett, he's probably going to benefit because he's starting second. He'll be alongside the 30, probably get the jump. Jake Nichols is going to line up right behind Miller, and those are teammates, so I'm not sure. You know, he got Philip Groner in 4th. He'll get the jump. Skyler's on the top. There could be a lot of drivers who get, you know, at best case scenario, I think, is some drivers lose track position because of 30. Worst case scenario, I think you guys know what the worst case scenario is. This is very, very risky. But I know he's trying to save a set, Hunter. It's just, this is a risk.
Yeah, you risk spinning the tires, and we get a whole kerfluffle at the start-finish line, which you don't want to happen, but the 19-lap difference in tires is going to make that a little more difficult for the restart. However, he is a control car. He does have that for his advantage, but the most important part, you don't want to spin the tires.
Wasn't it in the Pro Series race, too, that this happened at Dover?
I think it might have. It might have been both.
And there was a conversation about it after the fact, I remember.
Yes, there was. I just remember Euroshack. It happened to him in trucks and caused him a penalty. That's the one I remember.
Oh, maybe it was the trucks then. That's the one I'm thinking of. Well, let's see how it pans out. Maybe there's some fire left in these Goodyears. We'll see. Lap 83 of 130. Jeremy Miller is the control car. He needs to fire first as we get back to the restart here at Darlington. Green flag. Nice firing away for the 30, but when we get to turn 1, that's when the tales will be told.
And this is going to be interesting. He got up in front of Clampett, so almost everyone's going to be at disadvantage, but here's where Clampett's grip will help him out, but not quite enough to just blow by the 30 and Miller. Those tires already held up better than I thought they would. Contact with Clampett. Here comes Jake Nichols as Scott Shives in the wall, keeps it straight. It's really a race, Hunter, to see who gets by the 30 first. It will be Clampett.
He's looking to clear him on corner exit. He might do just that, even though he's on the inside lane. The fresher tires, more grip, and here come everyone around to the inside of Jeremy Miller as he falls back.
It took a little longer than I thought for this to happen. I thought this would have happened turn 1 last time around, but clinging to it. And 48's in the wall. Jeff Wright is going to push the 15 to the bottom. It's going to be a stack up out of 2. Everybody scatters.
Everyone's still scattering, get around the 30 and Miller. Alex Weaver is just pushing Greg Mitchell and Brody Falliker to the inside. That got tight. Zach Nichols is on the apron there. He's still on eggshells because of his drive-through he had. He has a bunch of points as Miller starts to fall almost outside the top 10. This has really hurt James Scioli. He's back to 6th. Braxton DeWeese is 7th. Philip Groner's up to 4th. Travis Beckner's benefited as Fambro gets close to the 29. Really benefits Travis Beckner. He's up to 3rd.
Yeah, the 18 was sideways on quarter entry into 1. Car in the wall. That's Kemp in the 51 as the drivers look to scatter and avoid that 51. Still keeping it going, and Falker giving a little bump to the 30 of Miller.
Ooh, this isn't going to work. Out of turn 4. Mitchell, Falker, they're all stuck back there. Mitchell to the bottom, little jockeying left and right. I'll be honest, it didn't go as catastrophically terrible as I was anticipating, but I still think this is a lot of risk.
I would say hold on before you say that. Miller's still trying to...
look out!
Oh, what a save! Zach Nichols, quick wheel work. Another stack up behind him, but the Canes 44 somehow kept it straight. That should have been the crash right there. All these drivers still have to get by the 30 of Miller. That was wild.
Yeah, they're not making it easy at all, and for the front 5 or so, it's been pretty easy as they're dropping away from this action that's unfolding around the middle of the pack.
30 on the outside of Weaver. Weaver's through. We're not quite out of the woods yet back here. I think everyone is strung out enough. Everyone had to jump out of the throttle. Justin Sogak, we haven't really talked a lot about the 88 tonight, nor the 09 of Bryce Senesac. It's been quiet evenings back here, but see if they can find something in the closing 50 or so, well, 40 or so laps of this race. We're counting them down pretty quick.
We haven't talked about Blaze McKinney a lot either. He's just passing Miller now. He got big damage from the lap 1 stack up. He is just barely finally repaired that 87. He's still kind of struggling to get track position. 9th in points, 3 wide. Colin Fambro, he was 5th before the yellow during green flag. He's trying to make up time quick. Big slide job, and he made it work.
Oh, he's got Falker. Whoa, giving him a little glove tap to the quarter panel, but going to try and drive away from this and work his way back to the top 5.
Wow, that was a little dicey. Justin Munsell saw a crash with him in the 43 of Matthew Bell. He's trying to recover after spending some time on pit lane. It wasn't extended time, though, the last time he was down. And Miller has now dropped to 22nd as Garrett Grant goes by.
Not out of the woods yet, but a lot less cars behind him at this point. Maybe, just maybe, we start to focus at the front. Clampitt got the lead, the 73, 27, 11, and then the 7 are in the top 5. So Scioli got back 6th. He got back 5th from DeWeese. As Miller slides up the track again, but that restart is not what the 7 needed. He really got trapped.
Oh, and Miller's on the wall. Keeping it good, coming out of 2. He's almost at the end of this. He's got Shane Abbey to the inside, and then that's another car to the inside. Couldn't quite tell who that was. But the front 4 within a second of each other, Kyle.
I'll tell you, the guy who has
got a spin.
Brody Falker. And they straighten it
Justin
back
Munsell.
out. Oh, man. We're going to get back on the road. Let's have a look at what prompted this.
Robertson slapped the wall in 1, but kept it straight.
These two were nose to tail down the back straightaway, and then they come into 3, and I wonder if there was contact or if the 42 ran himself out of road. Ooh, little contact with the 18. That checks him up. Munsell can't stop. And nice saves by both of these drivers, but that's classic Darlington for you. And a battle for the lead. Now, before we get into this, I want to point out the driver that is probably the most relieved of anybody is Travis Beckner, because he's got a couple cars between himself and Braxton DeWeese, and they were wearing each other out. So a chance for them to breathe as the battle for the lead is on.
And I'm not sure if he's repaired a lot of the right front damage, but it seems like his car has more speed than it did. He's pulled away from Philip Groner by a decent bit, and he's staying with these top 2, trying to go for 3 in a row in the Pro Series, something Connor Urashak did last season. But he's going to have to make 2 really tough passes with Logan Clampitt and Jake Nichols. Oh, crash! I don't know who that is, but a big wreck. I think it might be Munsell again, and it's Jeremy Miller.
And that is destroyed for the 30. Off the nose of the 6. Off into 3, and Alonso kind of washes up and then kind of clears himself there a little bit. Wow, he really wanted to finish him off there, didn't he?
Yeah, that's pretty obvious to me.
I would imagine that he felt different about this, this is one of those things where
Miller gave him room.
Yeah, he did. He didn't really do much wrong there at all, did he? Yeah.
Nope. The 6 was just mad. He was held up, I guess. I'm biased, so you can't really take my opinion, but that just seemed blatant to me.
The last incident wasn't caused by the 30, right? That was something else.
No. There was a 43 and 6.
I'm just trying to see if the 30 didn't change his line here at all either. I'm just surprised that I know Munsell's having a bad few laps here, but this is unlike him, I'd say. Maybe he just thought he'd get a good spurt of speed there, but then turn off the wall.
Yeah, they had issues at North Wilkesboro. Maybe it boiled over, but I don't know. This is going to bring the leaders in for another set of tires. I'm sure Miller's upset because he got through the fast cars. He went through the fast cars. It's the guys at the back who caused him to be involved.
Yeah, well, this is the thing that's frustrating for him is this is exactly what his strategy would have been good for. But
yeah.
But again, I mean, I know it wasn't his fault, but I'm just going to say that he'd been at the back of that to begin with. He might not have got himself in that exact position, but it's not really his fault. So, anyway, 35 laps to go.
2 tires from David Weishart, potentially?
Yeah.
And Beckner almost got the lead on 4. He actually did jump Jake Nichols there, but this is interesting. You talked about it earlier, Hunter. Someone might try it, and I'm not too surprised that David Weishart's the guy. He's trying to go for 2 in a row at this track in this series.
Yeah, he's on his last set of tires anyway, so he's trying to make the most out of the last set that he can. So he's only doing half now, and he's got half later as still waiting on the 51 and the 2. I think they might just stay out entirely, which that's a little shocking to me because of how much tire wear matters. And Matt Kemp hit the wall early on that restart.
I need to give a speech about this, I think. Again, I love the strategy. I just don't think there's any point in the track position play part of this. It is always going to end up with you just dodging getting run over for 5 laps and then end up 30th anyway. So, I mean, yeah, look, I'm all for it. I just don't think this positioning is going to bode well for anybody, but no point beating a dead horse, I guess.
Less worn tires, I suppose, but they'll still drop almost as hard as the 30 of Miller did, about 10, 11, 12 laps on the tires for those two. I would have been more excited for Weishart's 2-tire call if he came out with the lead, because I think he would have been able to maybe try to hold off the 90 track position-wise. Now he's going to be on row 2, and it makes it a little bit harder, but this is going to make it even harder for Logan Clampett. He's got to get a good restart and just hope he's in the right line for this. This is anyone's race, 4th on back on those 4 fresh tires. It's whoever gets through those 3 first, I think, that wins this race here.
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting restart. Now we got 2 guys that have completely stayed out. 1 guy with 2 sets of, left side. Is it left sides did he do, or did he do right sides?
I hope it's rights.
I would assume rights, yeah.
Regardless, he has two fresh tires, 2 tires that are not so fresh, and then everyone else behind 4 tires and fuel. So this is going to be an interesting curveball for the leaders here.
None of the 3 races this week, none of them have gone anything close to each other. It has just been, each race has been very unique in how it's transpired. But man, check out the High Banks podcast. Just 2 blue-collar guys, Nick and Alex, talking about NASCAR and more. Listen to episode 205 with Brad Slaughter and the new episode with Jacob Bell, available on Spotify. And head over to rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. A couple flavors like Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, and South Beach Heat. Of course, check out the Cup Series Rookie of the Year battle, sponsored by Rick's Hot Sauce, and see which driver takes home their $100 prize, being the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. Boy, it has been hot and spicy tonight. I think there will be plenty of feuds coming out of this one, maybe even more so than we had leaving North Wilkesboro last week.
No one had that on the table.
Well, I think fighting with each other on a track like this, Connor, as you pointed out earlier, is a losing battle because you have to beat the racetrack first before you beat everybody else. But they are focused on each other, and the big prize is out the windshield. Matt Kemp and Greg Mitchell on 17-lap old tires in command of this race. Green flag, we're back underway at Darlington.
I think Beckner might be in a good spot here because Weishart's going to have the grip to probably get Greg Mitchell in turn 1 and 2, but he's got to get Mitchell before the exit 2.
Trouble behind him. Cars scattering, and I think they've all kept it straight, but we'll see if they can make it down the backstretch.
Big advantage for Beckner. He got clear of the 33, but the 51, surprisingly, he's able to stay in the lead on no tire, so he's still got to get Kemp and
Clampett's
Weiser.
middle three wide.
Oh my gosh, what a move! How did he pull that off? That is the move of the day.
That could be the move that wins him the race, but he's still going to get by the 27 of Beckner's to the inside of Weishart. Weishart's going to hold him up, which just gives 90 of Clampett time, gives Philip Groner time. A lot of these guys benefiting from that move.
That was absolutely crazy. Let's have another look at that. Logan Clampett showing why he is a pro. Watch the positioning of this number 90. Well, I'll actually hold that thought because we got a battle for the lead and I don't want to miss it. And here comes the 33.
And Weishart used the 2 tires, just throttled up to the right rear of Matt Kemp. Kemp had a decent few laps there, but now no track position. He's going to drop like a rock. Beckner to second, but Clampett has the run to the inside. This is for the lead on 2 tires, and Logan Clampett's got a battle on his hands. I guarantee you, he doesn't know what he's in for with Beckner.
Boy, Logan Clampett slicing and dicing his way through this running order to the inside. He's not going to be clear. Beckner's going to be up near the wall, almost making contact through 3 and 4, sideways off of 4. Beckner staying in front of the 90 for now.
Wow,
this is what Weishart wants, huh, Kyle?
Yeah, absolutely. Fight, fight, fight. The battle is on. 30 laps to go. And Logan Clampett, I don't know if he's raced Beckner a lot before, but if he didn't know what he was in for, he's in for it now. Out of turn 2 down the backstretch, the Gladiators go at it at the Lady in Black.
Weishart got a scrape. The 27 did as well. They're 3 wide for about 6th with trying to get by Matt Kemp. DeWeese gets through. Now Furness has to follow through, but he doesn't have as much grip as Clampett's all over the back bumper of Travis Beckner. And you're absolutely right, Kyle. I'm not sure if he has raced with the 27 before, but he's in for a rude awakening as far as aggression goes if he hasn't. And like I said, that is exactly what David Weishart wants because he has clean air, and as those 2 battle harder and harder, that gives him a lot more time for these tires to equalize.
I bet you back to DeWeese is saying first time to Logan Clampett in the 90. Travis Beckner not making it easy, trying to close in on Weishart with 2 tires. Still 3 car lengths of an advantage for him as they work their way off turn 4 and down the front stretch.
Yeah, Braxton DeWeese tried for how long to get by Travis Beckner and he couldn't do it. Let's see if Logan Clampett's got more for him. Well, we've got a brief moment. Let's go back and play this again. This was the move that we saw out of turn 4. Watch the 90 where he positions himself. Between the 2 and the 11, he sees this gap. He turns down for it. That was unbelievable.
Played it perfectly. And he did use the bumper a little bit to make that work, and he just got clear of Greg Mitchell. And I'm thankful iRacing let that happen. So many times we'll see a battle like that end with someone right hooked accidentally, but that was smooth, and that could win him the race, but he's still got 2 cars. He's got to deal with Beckner, but Beckner might get the Weishart before he can have another crack at the 27 as Travis is focused trying to get 3 in a row.
Yeah, trying to accomplish that feat. Meanwhile, John Furness holding back Blaze McKinney for the 8th spot, still trying to keep him at bay. Jeff Wright holds on to 10th, and then outside the top 10, Matt Kemp falling like a rock, staying out on the tires, and everyone's trying to make their way by to the inside.
You know, in all that battling, we didn't really note exactly where Kemp and Mitchell have landed, but they are down 18th and 21st now. Just about 7-8 laps after the restart, so, well, 9 laps after the restart. 3 wide behind him, Casey Lakatos in the middle, and Bryce Senesac and Mitchell involved in this fight. A little slide up there by the 09.
It was interesting. It actually looked like it was working well for Kemp when he had the clean air, but once the 33 cleared him, he dropped like a rock. So clean air is still very, very important at a track like Darlington where you almost have no other groups to work with as we're closing in where we're at 25 to go. Travis Beckner still having to face Logan Clampett, but David Weishart has maintained a pretty solid lead over the 27 for a few laps now as Groner and Nichols are almost doing battle for 4th.
And using the track to his advantage, knows that he can get away with running 1 and 2 in a similar fashion. 3 and 4, got to carry the momentum on the outside lane, so Weishart doing a good job at that. And Beckner's still, well, he's closing in on the 33, quite frankly, but still got to worry about that 90 because one miss up from this 27 is going to be striking point for the 90 of Clampett.
Yeah, I think Beckner's got his hands full now. He's going to go to the bottom of the 33, but that little holdup right there is going to cost him big because here comes Clampett. He's going to get a big run out of turn 4, but he's not close enough to pounce on him, Connor.
And we talk about Travis Beckner's history. Him and Weishart have history. Think back to the truck finale last season. They Beckner kind of got forced out of a championship battle because of contact with Weishart. These two have a bunch of area history, and we might be writing another chapter here today, depending on how aggressive Travis Beckner wants to get. He looked to the inside, fakes back to the outside, and now he's going to try to look to the right rear. He might even get into the 33. He puts him up the track, trying to get the run out of turn number 4. Now this really stacks things up. This 90's right there, and Philip Groner's closing in too, but Clampett being patient, not going yet.
Clampett's trying to wait for the right time to strike. They're running really low through the entry of 1 and in the middle of 2. Weishart going to try and protect on corner exit. He'll do just that. Puts Beckner in a tough spot. Meanwhile, Philip Groner and Jake Nichols watching from behind in 4th and 5th.
Yeah, closing in from behind like sharks, just lurking. The dorsal fin swimming back and forth. Beckner is behind the 33. Here comes the 90 up to the outside. He wants to find a gap. Beckner slams it shut out of turn 4.
Clampett was almost there, and Beckner just barely got the door shut. I'm not even sure if he shut the door or if Clampett hit him first, but either way, Beckner's got to go now. He has to know that if he doesn't make this move in one fatal corner, he's not going to be able to win this race. As Clampett has another run, but Clampett's not pushing it too hard. I think he's letting Beckner at least make the decisions into the corner, maybe trying to get him into turn number 1 like he just did. He just tried moving the 33 again, but David Weishart's not budging, and now Clampett is fully to the outside. There's contact, and they're going to check up. Here comes Philip Groner. He's going to give a shove to the 90.
Side by side for second, heading into turn 1. Weishart going to encourage this battle to continue as Clampett clears Beckner on the outside. Groner looking to the outside, but Beckner's trying to shut the door.
Yeah, he's got to shut this door. If he loses this spot, he loses this race. Contact and crash. Beckner's in the wall out of 2. Caution is out, and he slides down the racetrack. And his chances to win have just taken a really big hit.
And it's not what he needed either. Even with 2 wins, he's 23rd in points. Absolutely not what he needed. And I'm not sure if that's what Weishart even needed.
He's going to be at a disadvantage on this next restart, so the 90 already cleared.
He needed to shut this door, though. It just, to what risk, right? I mean, Ferret wasn't certainly going to get shut, but you guys get the point. Like, if he didn't get that spot back, but it's tough. Let's go look at this again.
I mean, Groner definitely forces the issue, but when you have a hole, you got to go for it. And he's there, but Travis, I don't think expected Philip to go for it, and it's just too late for him to lift out of it.
Holy cow.
Watch Scioli.
Oh my gosh.
It could have been much, much bigger. As we're going to get even more pit stops. David Weishart stays out, and everyone else comes down. But we do have more drivers staying out. Jeff Wright, I think that's Alex Bryson on track. Colin Fambro, Garrett Grant. And now we might see even more 2 tires. I think we will see more 2 tires, Hunter, because we saw it actually worked all right with Weishart.
Yeah, and I mean, Weishart had to do that because he only had 1 set left, so he tried to split his set in half. No need for coming back in to put the other set on. I mean, it would help, but track position very key. Felt like he was comfortable enough to do what he did, hold the lead. But yeah, Jeff Wright, Alexander Bryson, Colin Fambro, Garrett Grant. Looks like they're all staying out, and yeah, that's just the guys.
I think Jake Nichols took 2, as did DeWeese and John Furness.
Clampett's the first on 4.
Wow.
Groner's going to go to the back repairing that nose damage.
Well, this race really turned upside down after that caution.
Dare I say that this is the most action-packed race we've had all year?
Yeah, it's up there.
I mean, what one would top it for you guys? This has been wild.
Yeah, it's taken so many turns.
I mean, like I said, the other races this week have been completely different than this. And it's kind of been the case of the season so far, is that each race of the week, with how different the cars drive in the slightly different fields, they end up kind of being their own show. There's not really a lot you can take away from one to the other. But this one in particular has been the most dramatic. The trucks had a great fight on Tuesday, but as far as the drama factor, this one has been cranked up to 15. Cooling off the racetrack, too. More grip for the end of this thing, and it'll be 15 laps to go by the end of this.
Yeah, and this is not what Weishart needed. The 48, I mean, even the drivers who stayed out behind him are on 4 tires compared to his 2. I'm shocked he did not at least come down for another set of right sides. He is going to be struggling here. but this throws a whole new wrench into things. Jeff Wright, Bryson, Garrett Grant, they have not been near the front today. Colin Farrenborough, different story. He was top 5. He was on the 2-stop strategy. The yellow came out, trapped him a lap down, had to take the wave around, and he had not recovered since. This at least gives him an opportunity to salvage something. And then, obviously, Nichols, DeWeese, Furness on 2 tires, leaving Clampett and Scioli the first 2. Really the 2 dominant drivers, Logan Clampett, James Scioli, leaves them on 4 tires with a lot of work to do with a little time left, Hunter.
Yeah, this is this is shaping up to be probably the most important restart of the race. I'm not sure if we get another yellow after this, but
you guys have no idea what's about. I mean, this is we were set a couple of times to have green flag runs to the end, but now we have fully committed to the chaos of this Darlington race, guys. Well, 1 lap to green here. It'll be a 15-lap sprint to the end in theory. Race fans, visit shop.areairacing.com for high-quality merchandise at low prices. Shop from over 100 selections of t-shirts, hats, champion brand clothing, and more area accessories. Easy to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear at shop.areairacing.com. Weishart picks the outside. He's going to be lined up with Colin Farrenborough right on the inside with Alexander Bryson behind him. The first car on 2 tires is Jake Nichols, who's going to restart on the outside of row 3. The first car on fresh 4 tires is Logan Clampett. He's going to start 9th on the inside of row 5.
I don't even know what strategy I like here. I don't think I like 4 tires. It's going to be really tough to get these positions if we're stacked up 2 by 2. I don't hate 2 tires from Nichols either, but he's going to have to get through these rows pretty quickly as well. And who knows what will happen with David Weishart here.
Who knows what's going to happen with anybody here. 15 laps to go at Darlington for the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series. Weishart fires off on the outside. Green flag. Tires are spinning in the outside lane.
It was Farrenborough. Farrenborough didn't get going. That's going to be disadvantage. Jake Nichols' advantage to the 13 of Braxton DeWeese on the bottom. Trying to get by Garrett Grant as Wright tries to chase down to 33 as DeWeese slides up the track, but Clampett's already through.
Now, Clampett already to the bumper of DeWeese as they're scattering towards the back, but Weishart looking for this thing to go green to the end, trying to keep everyone at bay.
Through 3 and 4, cars still double wide here. Onto the front straightaway, everybody trying to find room to race. The 90s up to 5th already, +4 in the opening lap, past Nichols, past Scioli, and he's got 4 fresh tires. Does he have time to use them and get by the other 4 ahead?
Oh, this is going to be a big run here to go 3 wide. DeWeese played it wrong, got by Bryson, but he's going to lose positioning to Clampett. DeWeese on 2 tires, but Clampett on 4 fresh. Mr. Fieldgoods is going to have the advantage. Up to 3rd, Colin Farrenborough just got walled by John Furness as DeWeese tried the crossover on the 90. Jeff Wright hit the wall from 2nd. Weishart hit the wall. Logan Clampett's going to go to the race lead just like that.
And he clears him heading into turn 1, and everyone else scatters for positions outside the top
turn 1, and the 7's going to be in it in a big way across the racetrack, and caution is out.
This
and
race,
all that puts Clampett from 9th to 1st in 3 laps.
I mean, that was perfect for him. I mean, that played out absolutely perfectly. I'm not sure what happened to the 48 and 33, but we'll see what caused this crash. Let's see, 28. Oh, stack up car into the 15 and the 87 into the wall.
It's a lot of cars, a lot of places. Really, I mean, when it gets to this point, how can you blame anybody in particular? You know, it just gets too many cars in one spot. Got to go a little further up the road to kind of see the genesis of this, though. 15 and the 38, 15 and the 57, actually, or 97 rather. It all happens really fast.
Yeah, I mean, 15 kind of checked up. I mean, that's kind of racing. I think that was really bad net code as well with the 87. And James Scioli, innocent bystander, what was looking like if this went long run, he could have had a big shot to win. But it went away. But this is where it all formulates. He's 5th out of turn number 2 here. He gets this big run on Braxton DeWeese. 3 wides. This was to get to the 3rd position. And he's still in the middle of this battle with the 13 Hunter. And all of a sudden, the sky's part out of 4, and he gets the lead.
Yeah, the 48 slides up into the wall, and David Weishart, I think he taps it here on corner X, or gets close to, but just the difference in tire wear for the 33 and the 90 of Clampett, it's just too much for him to hold off.
Look at this mess out of 4. Just cars just everywhere. And we are going to now have under 10 laps to go next time we restart. And Clampett has a pretty sizable gap back to the next car on the same strategy as himself. You have to look all the way back to find Alex Bell in the 15, to find the next car on 4 new fresh tires.
And I'm not sure how Alex Bell did that. He was running top 10 earlier, but this would be a huge race for him if he could get into the top 5 on 4 fresh tires. And if Logan his internet better cooperate. That is not how you want to lose a race. No. But still got old tires at the front. Weishart is in second. DeWeese is the furthest up on 2 tires, but 2 versus 4, it's like you keep saying, it's not good math. I don't know if he's going to be able to do anything with the 90. Maybe he's messing with his internet. Maybe Braxton's trying something here. But yeah, Nichols did not have a good restart, and neither did the 38.
I wouldn't try to mess with my internet if I'm leading with about 10 to go. That'd be a wrong time to do it. One wrong flip of the switch, and you're out of the race.
Well, I think he's put himself in the right position, and now it just has to come down to execution at this phase. We're far from done. We've already seen how quickly things can reshape and reshuffle in a lap or 2. I do think he's, with some very brave moves, I must add, Logan Clampett has put himself in position to just drive away from all the mess in the mirror. But DeWeese on 2. If he gets a good restart, we've seen how aggressive he can be. And when you've got a win right in front of you like that, after the night he's had where he's just been following people, you don't want to be a runner-up forever, do you, Connor?
No, certainly not. But this is kind of how Braxton has had some good runs as of late, and this would just be another big race for him if he could just hold on to get this good finish. He doesn't have to deal with Beckner anymore, at least we don't think. We'll just have to wait and see because of how crazy his race has been. But this is just how he's been staying top 5 in points, just consistently getting decent finishes while others just aren't as consistent. This is what's going to point his way into the playoffs. This is a great season for him to this point. I don't think he'll be able to do anything with Clampett unless the 90 makes a mistake. He's still got to get by Weishart on the restart. He would almost have to perfectly time the restart to get the Clampett to a bumper, but a very good run for him as Logan Clampett picks the inside line.
Yeah, this is, regardless, if Weishart just keeps his car in one piece and doesn't lose it, he's going to make up a ton of spots in track, or a ton of spots in the points, I should say. He lost 10 spots after missing last week's race at North Wilkesboro, and yeah, looking to make up some ground. He's down to 19th in the point standings. A win would be nice, but as long as he comes through with a clean car, Kyle, maybe a top 5 finish would settle for the 33. So he tries to make the playoffs on points.
Being consistent is often the key, and being able to race big picture is really important, because if it can get you into the playoffs, it can get you through the playoffs. There is a point, though, when you will have to win, whether it's the last race or at one point in one of the rounds. I would find it shocking if you could win a championship without winning a race. But there's a lot of drivers that are in contention for it right now. It'll be an 8-lap run to the end. Clampett again has chosen the inside lane. The outside has got drivers with older tires, and it's going to choke up 44 and the other cars that are in tow there, the 15 as well. But let's see how things go. 8 laps left at Darlington in the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series. Green flag.
And Weishart did not go there. The high side's going to get checked up again, so DeWeese gets to second. Garrett Grant is looking for the 3rd position, but I'd be shocked if they get out of turn number 2 like this.
And the run's going to go to the outside. Jeff Wright actually going to look to clear Garrett Grant, and will do just that. So a little disadvantage there for the 5, and here comes Zach Nichols trying to take 5th away.
Big runs back here. Everybody trying to carry their momentum, parlay into something forward. Somebody's in the fence big way. I think that was the 87 of Blaze McKinney.
And the 09, both of them hit the wall, but somehow kept it straight. Zachary Carr, Alex Bryson side by side. The 5's dropping back. Furness gets around him. Alex Weaver slapped the outside wall. Falls back even further as Clampett drives away.
Yeah, side by side with Greg Mitchell off of 2. That's going to get real close, but these guys keeping it straight for now. And there comes Jake Nichols to the outside of Zach Nichols, who's trying to get around the 48 of Jeff Wright, who's in the wall.
Greg Mitchell just got the boot from Philip Groner in the background. I don't think Mitchell's going to appreciate that. Groner's clearly upset about something because he shipped them.
And we're just tangling cars together at the moment all the way around the racetrack. 6 laps to go, coming back to 5. And Jake Nichols to the inside of Zach Nichols, tucks back in line. Cars splaying out like it's Indy right now on the back straightaway.
Oh, Groner's on a mission. He is seeing red. He just looked 3 wide middle after being in the incident with Beckner. He almost gave another shot to the 29 of Weaver. I am watching that 11 dice through the field as they are dicing 2 by 2. Falliker, Wright, Carr, and Grant. 4 cars in the one corner. That's going to be tough to make work.
Oh, Senesac.
Oh, no.
Nice save.
He's going to keep it straight. Unbelievable save from
3 wide. 3 wide for 11th with Grant, Kemp, and McKinney. All bets are off at this point. Big slide job there. McKinney's going to clear them all, but Kemp with the crossover.
Wow, what great battles here. 4 laps to go this time through, and the battles are just everywhere. Everybody trying to find space on the racetrack.
88 just put the 5 in the wall, Hunter, so no love lost at this point. McKinney around the 51 of Kemp, the 5's bouncing off the wall again, and all this is happening all the way behind Logan Clampett. Braxton DeWeese is trying to stay with him, but it's half a second.
Yeah, and here comes McKinney down to the inside, really sending it on the 48 of Jeff Wright, and he might get crossed over here, or he might not. That was an impressive pass that McKinney made for the 10th spot.
He committed to that like Carl Edwards at Kansas. That was cool. Zach Nichols, Jake Nichols, 3rd and 4th. Zach Carr, Brody Falliker battling for 7th place all the while. Braxton DeWeese is trying to find some speed, but it's going to be tough to run down Clampett on 2 more fresher tires. So you rocket into turn 3, coming to 2 to go.
2 less fresher tires. If he had 2 more, he'd have 6,
yes.
and that's not legal.
Oh, the 87.
McKinney, that is...
There's the Carl Edwards move, and he's going to get run over.
Oh! Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking on that one. That was never going to work.
If some of it works, more is better, right?
I mean, yeah, it was a Carl Edwards move. Carl did it on the final lap for a reason.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, he's going to get run over down here in 1, too, I think.
Yeah, that was a big mistake. He cost himself a lot of good spots, valuable spots, doing that 9th in points, trying to hold off Therian now for about the 16th, 17th position instead, as they're fanning out at the back. Senesac, Pierce. Ben Pierce just booted the 09 a little bit into the corner, but the white flag's out.
Yeah, one more time from Darlington as Logan Clampett. Whoa, they're crashing! Big hit for, that was the 88. Anna Sogak hard into the inside wall, but the white flag's out. Kyle, we're going to finish this thing one way or another.
He will not make it back, will the 88, but Logan Clampett, as the battles continue for the podium spots. Logan Clampett tonight was one of the fastest cars out there on the racetrack. 92 laps led. And a night like tonight, it's not often that the fastest car wins the race, but tonight Logan Clampett wins a chaotic race at Darlington. Braxton DeWeese, 2nd place. Nichols, 3rd and 4th. Alex Bell snags the top 5 and battles to the finish.
Big top 5 for Alex Bell. Kemp got 12th after the wreck with Weishart was around there. They crash after the line. Weishart gets 10th. Blaze McKinney and Case Lacadas crash after the line. That was wild. That was the chaos we were expecting on Tuesday and maybe even more Monday. We got it tonight.
Yeah, regardless, big win for the 90 of Logan Clampett. Braxton DeWeese, he's still inside the top 5 in points, but man, having that win would get you locked in. Won't have to worry about the rest of the regular season, but 2nd will have to do for now.
I don't think there's any shame in finishing 2nd to a guy like Logan Clampett, though. I mean, he didn't just the tires. Well, there's that. The tires, you know, that the situation that Logan got himself in, yeah, that won him the race, but so did too the moves that he made throughout the race. We saw him center 3 wide, inside 3 wide, outside 3 wide, every which way. And Logan Clampett, I mean, there's a reason why he's got the black stripes, Connor, or at least he did at one point. Still does, I think, right?
And I don't think anymore, but he has been running Road to Pro this season. But I will say this: he's talking about Braxton DeWeese. You know, he will not hang his head in shame for running 2nd to Logan Clampett. He might put it on his wall, actually. I mean, that's a huge, huge finish. I can't state enough how great of a drive Braxton DeWeese just had to get runner up there. As we'll look at the final lap crash, or really the 2 to go crash, stack up with the 51 pulling a slider, and bam, same hit Cameron Hearn had the 88 took. But yeah, this is Matt Kemp kind of sliding up in front of a 33, and I think Weishart checks up, causes contact. A little bit of a stack up there. Groner was there as well, and that was just a huge hit. I also saw this 87 and the 50 had a crash after the line, but this is the battle for 3rd.
Yeah, well, the battle for 5th is what took my attention here on the timing screen. Look at this. This is a battle for 4th place. Alex Bell missed it by 30 thousandths of a second. This is your battle for 11th place. This is 17 thousandths of a second right there. Give it to the 9. And then Alex Weaver and Bryce Senesac, 9 1,000ths between those two. That's for 16th place. How about that?
Wild stuff all race long. My goodness.
Here's a look at your race results. Logan Clampett, Braxton DeWeese, the lone Ford or lone non-Chevrolet in the top 10 in a pretty exciting battle there. Zach and Jake Nichols, 3rd and 4th. Alex Bell snags the top 5 in there at the last possible minute. One thing I noticed in here, Connor, so many drivers that we were not anticipating grabbing top 10s stole one with the strategy tonight.
Alex Bell, Zach Nichols. Zach Nichols had a drive-through. He got 3rd. That is huge. A huge recovery for him. Alex Bell, a top 5. He'll take that. Zachary Carr, he fought all race long. He got up to 7th. Brody Falliker, we saw him in the wall 8th. Philip Groner was in a crash with Travis Beckner. Had to repair damage. He got all the way back up to 9th, so I think he'll take that. And David Weishart probably rused the strategy call, but I think he still kind of net gained out of that. He'll take a top 10.
Yeah, big on the points for Weissart. Shane Tyrion just missing out on the top 10. Matt Kemp, he made a pit stop late in the going to finish back in 12th. Jeff Wright, Greg Mitchell, Garrett Graham, and then Weaver, Senesac, Pierce, Bryson, and Fambro round out the top 20.
And looking down the rest of the order here, 21st to 30th, disappointing night for James Scioli and guys like Travis Beckner and Justin Munsell. I know he got himself tangled up in a second incident, but also had himself kind of get put back there in that situation, not of his own accord. So that will be a one that they'd like to wipe. Same with Jeremy Miller. Got kind of off strategy in a strange way, but then got sort of taken out. And then down the rest of the order, this is where things really turned to disaster. Some drivers that didn't even get a chance to start with Ryan Hartson, an internet problem, and then Stafford, Slate, Chapman, Nowicki all out pretty early, Connor.
Yeah, and Ryan Hartz, he's just ruined his internet. It seems like every week something goes wrong with his internet. Once again, not even able to take the green flag because of it. Finishes down in 40th, but there's a lot of guys in that 30th to 40th range that didn't really get a chance to race. Like Matthew Bell was out at least somewhat late, but Cedric Hunter, Connor Okrezik, Nowicki, Chapman, Slate, all drivers who had damage and days were ruined pretty early.
Well, let's talk with our 3rd place finisher, and that was Zach Nichols in the number 44. Grabbed 2nd place by just about 0.2 of a second. Zach, tonight's race was absolutely chaotic. You started 35th, as low as 38th on the timing and scoring, but you come home with a 3rd at the last possible minute. Strategy plays here, 2 tires, and just, man, put yourself in the position. Take us through the last 50 laps where all that action kicked off.
Yeah, I mean, I really wish we didn't have to start off in the pits, but that's what happens when you wreck some stuff in the week before. So luckily we were able to just drive through the field, and yeah, that's 2-tire call at the end really helped us. I think we came in the pits like 17th or something and came out like 10th or so, and then we had a really good restart, which allowed us to drive up to, I think, into the top 5, and yeah.
I mean, tonight, with how much chaos there was at the end, this is not a racetrack often where you can have the luxury of racing everyone else. Usually you're just focusing on racing the racetrack. Tonight, how much were you chasing the car around versus racing the other people around you?
Yeah, I mean, the first run, I don't know what I did, or, yeah, pretty much what I did, but we were on rails, and I think I drove up to around 15th from 30th, but I was a lap down, so it really didn't even matter. So, yeah, I mean, that last run right there, with a little 10-lap run, I forgot to take fuel out, and we were just wrecking. And luckily, we were able to hold off Jake Nichols there.
Zach Nichols, 3rd place tonight at Darlington. Survives a wild one. Zach, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And 2nd place tonight with the drive of the season for him, Braxton DeWeese comes home in position number 2. And, you know, Braxton, tonight in a race like this, you kind of have to look at 2nd like a win in some cases. You're kind of playing the long game, looking for the playoffs, get in on points, but man, a win so close. Was it just a couple more tires you need, or what else you need to catch that number 90 out front?
Not have that fast-ass Logan Clampett, sorry for my language, but Logan Clampett out in front of me. I mean, there's just not much you could do, and he's in front of you. He's a hell of a driver, and he's obviously showcased that with being in the Coke Series stuff and having over 10K I rating. So, you know, I felt I did the best I could right there. Maybe getting around Alex, I could have got a better run. Logan got a run on me, but either way, I felt like he was probably going to get a run on me and potentially get around me. But, you know, I'm just super stoked that taking the 2 tires was able to work out there. I definitely saw that Weishart did that, and he was able to make it work. And I saw with 15 laps left and a couple guys staying out because they didn't have any extra tires, I was like, you know what, let's do it. I don't want to be in the chaos. So, you know, it worked out to our favor, and it stayed green, which I was wanting. and coming in with our best finish at my favorite track. This is kind of like a win for me, so we'll definitely take that.
Yeah, and talk to me a little bit about the battle you had with Travis Beckner. I know that things got pretty intense between you two, but it seemed like a pretty fun battle, although I have to imagine looking at the same rear bumper for as long as you did got pretty frustrating. How was that for you in the cockpit battle in that 27?
Yeah, it was a little frustrating just because you're a little faster, but I ultimately couldn't get it done. I think if I had set it up a little bit better and a little bit earlier on and not burned up the right rear as much as I did, I probably could have got a run on them and potentially got side by side down straightaway, but I just didn't have enough rear tire left to I feel like to be able to do that. So it was frustrating to be behind him, but that's Darlington. You gotta find a way around him, and I couldn't. So he did a hell of a job making that car as many lanes as this is, 2-3. It's pretty narrow, but he did a pretty good job of that. And unfortunate what happened to him because he was having a really good run going, but all in all, it was a really good battle. I'm looking forward to go back and watching that.
Braxton DeWee, second place tonight at Darlington. Braxton, congratulations. Great run.
I appreciate it. Hopefully it won't be as black next time if we get a podium, so y'all can see me.
All right. Thanks so much, Braxton. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. And at the top of the board, man, tonight he was Mr. Excitement, winning tonight at Darlington. It was not an easy task. You led the first 78-something laps. Then strategy got pretty chaotic. Logan, take me through tonight. We had, long green flag run, then a couple yellows, some more green flag running, and then just all hell breaks loose. Someone just lit the fuse on the grenade, and it was chaos from there. How did you claw your way back to the front? We saw some 3 wide. Man, take us through what you saw tonight.
Yeah, a lot of it was just like lane choice and stuff. I got pretty fortunate there on that last restart. Jake kind of got stuck. Someone spun the tires up there or something, and thankfully I was behind the 13, and we kind of made our way through, and I passed him, and it was just from there on out, just trying to get around the guys cleanly and finish it off. But yeah, it was fun the first half of the race. I don't really know what happened in the second half, but all is good.
You take in so much experience from so many different esports championships here in iRacing, and you come into a league here on a Thursday night, not necessarily running for a championship. You got all sorts of guys racing for different things. How do you weigh all that when you're battling guys that have a completely different outset and what they're trying to accomplish completely different things?
Yeah, I'm trying to be careful as much as I can because I know a lot of these guys are trying to get into the playoffs and stuff, and obviously, I'm not able to. I have Road to Pro on Thursdays, so I missed most of the races, but I just wanted to kind of do this league for fun. My buddy John Forbes, he kind of said, "Hey man, let's do this," and I'm like, "Oh, I can do part-time," and kind of keep up my stance in the Xfinity car for the college series and everything, and for Contender coming up. So yeah, I'm just trying to race cleanly around these guys, and I feel like that was pretty successful tonight.
I'd say so. This is the move that I think was the most exciting one of the night, putting yourself 3 wide with Groner on the inside, Greg Mitchell on the outside. It seems like you're mighty in tune with this Xfinity class car, Logan. So congratulations on a job well done tonight. It was a lot of fun to watch you race and battle for the win.
Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate it.
All right, Logan, thanks so much, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. You got anything else on the calendar that we know of yet, or just kind of doing one by one?
Just one by one. Hopefully, Road to Pro is next week, so hopefully we can make the race after that. But real quick, just want to thank Lucky Ducks Motorsports and John for kind of bringing me on over there for the league, and they put up a really cool Bobby Hillin Jr. throwback, and wanted to do a little Alan Kowicki Polish victory lap there. So it was cool, and thank you to them. I really appreciate it.
Logan Clampett wins tonight at Darlington in spectacular fashion. Logan, thanks so much for talking to us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.
Ooh, boy. Let's have another look at the results, guys. What a race. I mean, it had a little bit of everything. Some drama, some wrecks that had varying levels of egregiousness to them, Connor, but this is what you get on a night like this. But usually it's the track that snaps, not the drivers.
Yeah, it definitely was a driver's night. The only thing that wasn't variable was the points lead. Jake Nichols maintains a 17-point lead, so I think he'll at least take that as we look through the rest of the order. James Skyerly, not what he needed. He does stay top 20, so the win still matters. Travis Beckner stays 23rd in points after losing a pretty solid finish. Those 2 wins don't matter if you're not top 20. He's still got work to do, Hunter. Those 2 wins are his only top 10s of the whole season. Shows how much of a topsy-turvy season he has had, as we have about 4 or 5 races left in the regular season still.
Yeah, it's either checkers or wreckers for Travis Beckner, and really the bigger losers, other than him out of that, Justin Munsell losing 6 spots in points, Jeremy Miller losing 7 spots. He's outside the top 20 now, so even if he gets a win and in, it's not going to be well, if he wins, he'll be back outside the top 20, but that's the name of the game. But we have an off week for all 3 series for Labor Day, so everyone gets to regroup and refocus before all 3 series head to Montreal.
Well, road racing up on the horizon here, but just like tonight, it'll be racing the racetrack. Pretty entertaining evening. Hope everyone enjoyed watching, and we'll see you again soon right here on SimTV. For Hunter Sleppy, Connor Horn, and for Kyle Heyer, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time right here on SimTV with the Area iRacing Series.